day, Internet, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I am your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Words, and it's been a long day. So that's how I know tonight is going to be a great open mic. It is number 42. We've been doing this for 42 weeks. We are doing this on Zoom. So if you want to join us, the number's on the bottom left-hand corner, 279-995-364. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're streaming live on Facebook. You can check us out there or on YouTube. Also, the show is being recorded in case you want to go back and check out something, like especially an open micer, you want to see how well you did, you can do so there. Of course, like I said, I'm your host, Advocate of Words. You can find me on all the social medias at Advocate of Words. And when you spell words, that's with a Z, you know, poetic license. I'm from the Bronx. Thank you to the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org/contribute or on our Cash App, Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Few rules here. Number one, performing poets must have their cameras on. If this was an open mic live, you would see your face like La Bruja says. So we want to see your beautiful faces. Number two, poets have 4 minutes to perform and read their poem. We have 25 people on the guaranteed list. We have 10 on the waiting list. Everyone who knows me knows I love to get to people on the waiting list. So please respect the 4-minute rule. Number three, there is no censorship. Everyone who's listening should know no censorship. Every poet who comes up on the open mic, do not ask me, is it okay if I read this? Yes, it is. There is no censorship. Number four, unmute yourself after the poem and make noise for the poet. We want to recreate the feeling of being at the cafe as much as possible. When the poet's done, you'll get a message saying the host asks to unmute you. You unmute yourself, be real obnoxious, make your neighbors hate you more than they already do. Number five, stick to the theme, but you don't have to. Every week we have a theme. If you have a poem that is not on theme, it is all good. We will just ban you. No, I'm joking. We will listen to your poem. You can totally read your poem. So tonight's theme is favorite persona. I'm hoping to hear some poems about the favorite parts of you, and like sensationalize it, make it big. Next week is February 1st, that Monday. The theme is history. February 8th, Got My Eye on You. February 15th, day after Valentine's Day, Breakup. February 22nd, Advocate of Words. My birthday is the 21st, but the 22nd, I want to celebrate with you. And I don't want poems about me. I want poems about what you feel it is to be an advocate of words. Does not have to be about me. Just did the concept because I really like it. That's why it's my stage name. Okay, cool. So I see I have people that I have not admitted into that are in the waiting room. Sorry about all of that. So with all that being said, I could talk forever and ever. My name is Advocate of Words, but we are going to go to our poets. And first up is Gigi. Let me unmute Gigi. Gigi.
Hello.
Gigi has started a trend where people are standing up and reading their poems, and I love it. All right, Gigi, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Awesome. So I have a poem called She Is Me, and it's just one long poem, so we're just going to rip right through it. She is me. I have encountered a split, diverged into out of safety, the pinnacle of normality for survival. She aches, her ribcage rattles, the voice of the queer artist, the free spirit who ruled this body, now bound from 9 to 5. I can't tell who I am anymore in the mirror. They are battling and now enveloping one another. I am splitting. She is me. Miss Blanchard, long brown hair, standing at the front of the class, bubbly personality, bubbling underneath things I can never tell my students. She looks the part of what every parent wants. Some complain she's a little too inclusive for a small town school. She is fighting for the Black and queer students. She is dismantling a system of thinking while being told to bite her tongue. Miss Blanchard, I think I saw you on Sunday. You were reading at church, deacon attire. Miss Blanchard, you teach Sunday school too? Tell me about when you were a missionary. You are bright-eyed, talk too much, but never too much about yourself. The normal oddity. Miss Blanchard, Why is it never Miss or Mrs.? Tell me about your boyfriend. Now, why are you so quiet? She's a nice teacher, gets too serious when we make gay jokes, not like it should matter to her. Miss Blanchard is the me for survival in the heteronormative world. They call her dainty and quirky. And she is me, the voice inside my rib cage, the ego, the queer cutthroat. Her name is Gigi, carved from stone like a commandment, commanded to be respected. Pointed ears, sharp tongue, fade inspired deity, bubbled like tonic. My mouth leaves you tingling. My name is what is mouthed by witches and women wanting more. Gigi is the love language that lingers on your lips, if only for a moment. Men better watch their mouth. She will wear your canines like a necklace as a reminder when you barked too loudly. She is the spring and the harvest, spoken word poet. Her word is your bounty. So remember when you listen to say grace. I am the never stay in one place too long, the wind between your fingertips, the butterflies in your stomach, the rattling of cicadas in the summer. I am only a story, if only for a moment. She is us, the sewing of the split of who I see in the mirror and who I want to be buried as. My hands shake when I write my name. I don't turn around when called. Unsure of who I want to be, I am the pinnacle of normality and the enigma. And most importantly, regardless of personas, I am me. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give some love to Gigi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Yes,
wig
good
snap
job.
service. The wig snap, it was over. It was
Very
over.
nice.
It was over.
What a way to start off the night. I knew it. I'm telling y'all, tonight's going to be such a good night because I've had such a long day. Gigi, what a way to start it. Let the people know where they can find you online.
You can find me at iron_resilience on Instagram, iron_resilience, and stay tuned. There might be a website coming soon. Have a good night, everyone. I'm so excited. This was such a great theme.
Awesome. Thank you. Gigi, make sure you put that information into the Zoom chat. Okay. Also, if I didn't mention it before, make sure you guys have the Zoom chat open, especially if you do the open mic. People like to say nice things about you while you're performing your poem. You can check it out. Also, that's where I'm going to ask you to put your social media information. We talk about building community. Well, let's keep in contact outside of Monday night, even though I want you here every Monday night. Okay, what you do on Tuesdays, up to you. Monday night's mine. All right, Mary Blenderman is next. Let me unmute Mary. There's Mary. How are you, Mary?
I'm good. How are you, Advocate?
I'm good. You ready to share your poetry?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't write persona poetry a lot, or I guess kind of what people think of as persona poetry. But as I was thinking about this theme, I remembered that a while back, I for a brief time got really obsessed with this one poem by Nikki Giovanni. Don't know if anyone can relate to this. Many of her poems are obsessible. So her original poem is called Ego Tripping. There May Be a Reason Why. And this is kind of my spin-off of that. So this is just called Ego Tripping. Yeah. I was born in the snow. My breath set the Rhine rushing among the silent pines. I painted the caves of France with my own ancient hands. I built the fairy house they now call Stonehenge. I am the patient gardener. I walked to the coast, swam the channel in 5 leaps. I am the dolphin, riding the waves of my own laughter. I reclined on a cloud with the queen of paradise, drank nectar from the goblets of orchids. I flirted with Artemis and slept in Athena's bed. I am the beloved of goddesses. I bathed in a sacred pool. A waterfall where there was no river fell to wash my hair. Druids worshipped there for centuries. I leave mysteries wherever I go. I grew tired of moving, so I dreamt of an island and it rose out of the sea. Violets grow in my footsteps. I sleep in the sun or the arms of the trees. I am worthy of rest. I am perfectly content. An angel came to me, told me give birth to the Messiah. I replied, for what? Strength enough in these arms for my own salvation. I am so holy, so regal, so mystical, so brilliant. My constellation burns ever on.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Mary
Yes.
Blenderman.
Good job, Mary.
Yeah,
Nicely
amazing, Mary.
done.
Damn.
Huge.
Nice.
You're a little too.
Mary goes in. The pen game is on point, and then like her confidence when she performs. See, I'm an animate person. I'm like, hey, look, I'm on poetry. I'm cool. Mary's just like, look, my words are ill, so I could just say it like this, and you're gonna love it, and I eat it all up. Mary, where can the people find you online?
You can just find me back here on the New Year again.
Aw,
That's me.
snap. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Mary, love having you. Thank you so much. Mary Blenderman. Mary always brings it. Oh, we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2. All right, pressure's on DG clearing right now. Pressure is on because he's next. Let me unmute him. Gigi and Mary Blenderman set it off. Oh, wait, nope, you're still muted, DG.
Okay, how's that?
There we go. Go ahead.
Advocate Words, all the pandemic poets, the audience, thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is DG Clearing. I'm from Menasha, Wisconsin, just outside of Green Bay, which reminds me, the Packers lost yesterday. I think we should just take a moment of silence here. A moment of silence. Thank you. I have one poem for you tonight. It is on last week's theme. I do not have this week's theme. It is called Orange with Crimson. Orange with crimson. In the motion of madness, it felt as if the world was coming to an end. Fires tried to burn away our past as the air heated from the flames, glowing orange with crimson tails from the smoke and ash. Trees erupted in a fury of lunacy as if lava from a volcano erupted had caused them to burst into a sea of holistic I have to start over. I'm so sorry. Orange with crimson. In the motion of madness, it felt as if the world was coming to an end. Fires tried to burn away our past as the air heated from the flames, glowing orange with crimson tails from the smoke and ash. Trees erupted in a fury of lunacy as if lava from a volcanic eruption had caused them to burst into a sea of holocaustic executions of the innocent. Women, men, children, and animals were not spared as the heavens turned to flames. Endemic convulsions of the hysteria pulsated throughout our way. The ice caps melted, oceans rose and filled the plains. Salt from the seas tainted our fresh waters. Dunes from the deserts were washed away, becoming the floor of the sea. The valleys became the new lakes. The strong and the weak fled to the mountains, taking with them all that they could carry. In caves and under cliffs they waited, building shelters and becoming strong, sowing what they could, reaping and planning for their nourishment, tending to the animals, teaching the old and new how to survive. In these harrowing times, the children became the parents, becoming strong in the ways of the past, stronger in the ways of our future. In times, the waters receded. The ice caps froze and held the floods. The animals roamed the plains. The forests were filled with song. The desert dunes shifted and rose. Something greater has emerged. It's going to be okay. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves, give some love.
Nice.
Yes, that was really
Right,
good.
DJ.
DJ.
That was
Nice,
DJ
DJ.
Clearing,
Thank you
good
so much
job.
for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job.
DG clearing, man. Like put us in another zone right there with that. It was like a trance. DG,
Oh,
where
thanks.
can we find you online?
You know, just go out and get vaccinated. Tell other people to get vaccinated. Give them a ride. If you're vaccinated already, be safe. You can find us all, right here on Mondays. Thank you.
Thank you, DG
Appreciate it.
clearing. Like I said, when the pandemic's over, he's going to be my wingman. We're going to go out and paint the town red. All right. Next coming up is, where are they? Where's Miro? Oh, I see her. Sorry. Let me unmute Miro. There she is. How are you, Miro?
I'm good. I've missed you guys.
We missed you too. You ready to share your work?
Yes. So I've been continuing with like my poem a day type thing. I've missed like 2 days now, 3 days, but I still have quite a few. And the one from January 18th is actually accidentally on theme, kind of. And then I have a couple more I'd like to share. So I'll just dive right in. So January 18th, 2021, that was inspired by the theory of multiverses and like having other yous in a distant universe somewhere else. If there is another me existing somewhere in a distant galaxy, would she be the pushover, the meek mouse people pleaser, finding the perfect excuse for everyone that stepped on her, made her feel less than? Would she be the one swallowing shit polite and asking for another serving more again? Or would this other me be fearless, bold, embracing adversity, putting those who tried to step on her in their place with intelligence and flair? Would this other me live as the fierce warrior I'd like to be, unbothered, but not emotionally dead, wise, seeing beyond, easily rising above pettiness, fear, anxiety? If there is another me, existing somewhere in a distant galaxy, I hope it's her, slaying it, giving me comfort without knowing herself, but my knowledge of her possible existence lifts me towards continuing to strive toward that energy, that spirit here in my reality. And January 16th. When the words don't come, I look to the ceiling, the things on the shelves for something, hacking through the mind like Jones in search of treasure, inspiration, to ignite the spark that swiftly moves the pen across the page. When the muse hits so hard, it's a race to keep up because what comes next is even more exciting than what was written. I look for that, gazing at the blank slate of the ceiling, fresh like the page, racking my brain to bring forth the artistry of every day, coaxing poetry out of my pores, frustrated because I know it's there beneath the skin. I know what to say, but unsure how. The words won't come, can't be summoned. There will be no lines, no beauty written today. And lastly, January 23rd. This one does have a title, A Brief Moment. There we go. Inspired by a little tiny painting I saw at the Met. A brief moment is existence, a fleeting shadow over in an instant, though it may seem long, zoom out, it isn't. Like the glass that shatters or the candle that drowns in its wax, suffocating the hypnotic dance of the flame, we too will end, return to the earth, minds liquefied, moments stripped to the bone, life snuffed out. And I see that captured in this small still life, hung just so, in a corridor lit just so, in an old building in an old city on an island dead these many centuries, a small painting, Rich in detail, simple in presentation, heavy in symbolism, we interact, communicate for a brief moment. Before I must go, each step taken getting closer to the end while it remains, imparting its message to the next viewer, always the same. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it
Great,
up
Miro.
for Miro.
Fire. Always,
Oh,
Miro.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
job,
Welcome
Miro.
back. Fire.
Yeah, like,
Always fire with Miro. And also she put together a book. How close were we done with the book?
So it turns out, whole thing's canceled, cut, done. No, I'm kidding. We have a ton of works, and we have, it's going to be a longer book than I anticipated. So we were originally hoping for a Valentine's Day release. It's going to be closer to Earth Day because we want to take our time and do a really good job formatting, getting everything together. But yeah, like submissions have been closed since December. We're just working on getting everybody's bios and like just getting all of that done and putting the bitch together.
See, man, this is why you need to follow Miro. Miro, where can the people follow you online?
So my IG is Miro Reads Books. And I talk about books, and occasionally I'll post a poem, and we'll be posting more Gaia stuff soon. So follow me, I'll put it in the chat. Thank you so much for the love. Missed you all.
Thank you, Miro. Make sure you give Miro a follow. She's going to put the info in the chat. Next coming up is a woman whose last name it took me a little while to pronounce properly, but because of my dyslexia, I spelled her last name wrong today. I'm getting there close, but it's Melanie Figueiredo. Let me unmute her. Melanie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys tonight?
Good, good. All right, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead, rock out.
Okay, so I've got 2 poems tonight. I will try to get through both of them really quickly. You might sense a theme here with some of Mary's stuff. So here goes. It takes 2 months to fall in love with a goddess. 2 months before your eyes shine with enchantment and you find yourself reciting those same incantations she used to draw you in. 2 months of learning her spells, rituals, her exotic oil adornment before you understand that you are fully immersed, submerged. 2 months of her moaning, writhing body, leaving you sore, limping, and wanting more, her heat and fiery core next to yours at midnight, that unstoppable craving which she lights all ablaze, both of you comforted and tamed by everything pouring out of her. 2 months of ears being carefully massaged, slowly inciting a wildfire of goosebumps along her eager thighs. A constant ingesting of the shared language until your system begins to adjust, begins to crave that same taste in your mouth, your belly, the need becomes a regular wanting. 2 months of endorphins creating a headiness, a drunken buzz fogging your thinking and holding up lines behind you in the grocery store. 2 months is 60 days of language and words and sounds and promises, 8 weeks of whispers and texts and plans and a rough stroking of soft skin, a manhandling of her mouth. She takes your beard hairs between her teeth. She bites them to make sure you are both awake. She's with you when you are driving, when you are teaching, when you are tending the black earth. She's especially with you when you are knuckle deep in grit, connecting back to Gaia herself, trees swaying and the wind echoing her poems in return, a chorus of birds singing hallelujah, because you found a sacred secret and remembered that it lived inside you before she was embodied. Next poem is a spinoff on A Wild Woman Is Not a Girlfriend by Allison Nappy. What does the word girlfriend mean to you? Does it feel like ownership, an inhabiting of another? Does it feel like clutching and grasping my energetic medicine, healing all the pieces of you that ache? I am medicine, but I am not here to medicate. Does it feel like an intrepid discovery of uninhabited lands? These have been inhabited, its victims burnt alive. I am flame, I tell him. I am fire. I will infuse your cells and leave you wanting. You'll be parched after crawling through a dozen deserts desperate for the opportunity to turn around and try the same journey tomorrow. Does girlfriend roll off your tongue easily, lightly? I am weight, I am stone, I am earth and tree. I've been called a tigress by more than one man. I'll grin kindly and slowly gut you up the middle with my sharpest knife. You'll love it, I promise. Will you allow a prying open of your mouth so I can glimpse your cavernous depths? My claws, talons nearly piercing the tender skin around your cheeks, and me eager and hungry to devour more of you as fast as possible. Those same claws raking your back while you explore my insides, spilling wild and guttural noises. This is primal, this is need. I won't apologize for my malnourishment. The famine has lasted for years. Girlfriend is such a small box to crawl into for those of us with wings and stealth. We like to be on the move, and we like you on your toes, ready to spar with us, keep us healthy and strong for the hunt. We are hunters indeed. Witch and angel, goddess and muse, I plan to consume you and to be consumed, and any type of smaller love simply will not do.
Unmute yourself. Give
That
some.
all fire.
Melanie.
All tons of fire.
Damn.
Yeah, that was good.
Damn.
I am medicine, but I am not here to medicate you. What? Ooh, I loved it, loved it. Melanie, unmute yourself. Where can the people find you online?
I don't have social media, so I will be back here again and again. You guys are so welcoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie Figueiredo, and I will make sure my dyslexia will not spell her last name wrong next week, I promise. Okay. Wanted to really quick, because I just checked in. Shout out to on Facebook. I see Rebecca Burns is posting up on the Facebook video. So is Sebastian. Appreciate you, Sebastian. And Eddie Foreman. What's going on, Eddie? So real quick, I want to remind people that this is the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the Zoom number. If you want to join us, 279-995-364. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And like I said, we're doing it on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, if you want to sign up, the open mic list opens up 24 hours before the show. So on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, you would go to neweurekan.org and you would click full events calendar. At the full events calendar, you would click on the Monday that you're signing up for right there on the calendar, and then you order an artist RSVP ticket. That is the only way you get on the open mic list, an artist RSVP ticket. And from there, you'll get a confirmation number, and then the first 25 who sign up are guaranteed on the list. The next 10 are on the waiting list. And let us continue on so we can hopefully get to the waiting list. And that is Abraham Kamani. Where is Abraham? Abraham's able to time the schedule now so he could be at home with us so we can hear him clearly. Go ahead, Abraham. The floor is yours.
I have to be home to do these things nowadays. Otherwise, I probably won't be able to do them anymore. Hope you guys are doing well. And today I have two pieces for you guys. The first piece I wrote last year, actually, and it's called A Perfect Vow. When I met love at first sight, she immediately embraced me with open arms, spanning 200 pages of unwritten purity, waiting for me to compose her stories of going out on dates, swimming in think tanks, in severe brainstorms, enjoying large puddles of love descending from the sky, making a perfect vow full of exclamation points, to not be scarred by question marks, to not have a happy or a sad ending, to not have an ending, to not have any periods, only menstrual cycles, halted by a menopause, unable to stop love from reproducing offspring every spring, summer, fall, and winter, passionately making out in diaries, reaching intellectual climaxes, coming to the conclusion that her stories will not conclude in this lifetime. And the second piece was one that I just actually finished writing yesterday. It's called Dollar Bill. I am a single dollar bill, never the one to give myself up for free. Yet, so many people are willing to steal and kill just to get their dirty hands on me, because I am deeply loved by hustlers of every trade, always on the grind under the table, taking huge risks, falling for my bait, making them so sick their condition is not stable. But I am not the root of any kind of evil, pointing a gun at anybody's head, forcing them to do anything illegal in order to eat a slice of my bread. Honestly, I am tired of millions like me being spent on locking flying birds they catch in prison. Too many cages and not enough nests, a worthless investment. I'd rather be saved like a born again Christian, because I am fed up of being used by people who do not care to go on the front line and fight to build equity so the working masses can get more than their fair share in the struggle to end the racial and economic disparity. Though I am aware that without me, people cannot live, I do not seek special attention or love. Peace and happiness are things I cannot give. These qualities are offered freely by the man up above. Thus, I am not the master anyone should serve, just an object, a crispy, wrinkled piece of paper with a picture of a dead president who had the nerve to call himself a founding father, a revolutionary enslaver. As such, I am warning anybody whose ears are open to listen. Do not make getting me be your only life goal. If buying the whole world is your number one mission, you will pay the terrible price of losing your soul. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves, give
Very
some
nice, Abraham.
noise.
Right
Abraham.
on,
man.
poet.
Thank
That
you.
was
Thank you.
beautiful,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you so
Fire
much.
ass lines, bro.
It's for a lot
Smack.
of us out
Love
here.
that shit,
Thank
Yeah.
man.
you.
Yeah.
Lit it up, Abraham, who's now scheduling his. See, he's working his world around Mondays, people. That's what I'm saying. We need to let the people know. And you see, and he's bringing the fire. We appreciate it. Abraham, where can the people find you online?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Poetically Incorrect 562, and also on Facebook at just Poetically Incorrect.
Thank you, Abraham. Appreciate it. Make sure you put that info into the chat as well. Shout out to Luis Santiago, who just came home. He's always checking us out every week, giving us love on Facebook. Y'all gotta check the Facebook video. People say some nice things about you guys. All right, next coming up is Vale Larkin, the trendsetter. Hey, trendsetter, where are you? Oh, I see. There is the trendsetter.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you loud and clear. Ready to go?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. This might seem like it's not on theme, but it sort of is. This is a topic that other people have covered in this group, always from a certain perspective. But I've talked to a lot of other people in the group who have a different perspective. And one thing I'm good at is standing up for other people. I suck at standing up for myself, but I'm good at standing up for other people. So I wrote this poem. Anyway, just a heads up that it contains some pretty strong images of sexual assault and abuse. So if you have any issues with that, you might want to mute. Bomb threat. Sticks and stones, as they say. The word trigger is defined as the component responsible for transmitting the signal of ignition to an explosive device. My very first childhood memory is of my innocence ripping, like being torn into reality. The word made pain. I was 2 years old. My mother was not home. Words conjure ghosts. They haunt us. To warn someone is to give them advance notice of an upcoming event or situation, potentially hazardous in some fashion. It in no way prevents the event or situation from proceeding as planned. When I was 11 years old, my mother ran in my room, said he had a gun, and hid in my closet. He walked in, smiling like he never stopped. I lied through my teeth, inside still as corpses. I was proud of this for many years, my fearlessness. I knew I was not loved, no one between me and my own bullet. Have you never bled from the cut of a verse? Language can be acid that eats through your heart. If I were to censor something creative, I would seek to restrict, revise, redact, prohibit, or destroy it. To describe a poem, a painting, or a photograph of a small girl has nothing like the same effect. When I was 12, the preacher's daughter and I slept over every weekend night. They did not bother us so much when we were together. When I was 13, a college boy wanted to date me. My parents approved in spite of myself. He raped me whenever he was home from school. When I was 14, a teacher hired me to clean his apartment. I don't remember the rest. If language truly breaks no bones, if words bring no blood, how is it you feel so much? Empathy is the ability or willingness to accept another's experience as just as real, just as rabid and raging as your own. It is the willingness to hold someone's pain long enough to allow them a moment to ease it. When was the first time you remember being used? If you feel sick or angry or saddened or grieved, and you've never been broken like some have been broken, imagine reaching your wounds out for life-giving art and grasping on razor blades by surprise. If I thought it would show you, I would read you this poem with spikes through your eyes. Experience, it seems, is ever essential to understanding.
Unmute yourselves. Give some energy
God
to Vail.
damn it.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That was
Wow,
right
man.
on,
Fucking
Val.
wow,
Wow.
man. Wow,
Excellent.
man.
So powerful.
Oh,
Larkin, let me unmute Vail. Oof.
I said I was wicked scared to read that, so thank you.
Vail, like week in and week out, is coming in here and being like, "Oh, poetry time! Here's all my blood. You want some insights, my guts?" Vail is always like so vulnerable, and I love it. And you're fantastic with the craft. You're not just coming in here being vulnerable. You're also doing it poetically and doing so well. You got fans. Vail, speak to your fans. Where can they find you online?
Yeah, I am Vail.Larkin.Writes on Facebook, and I am Vail Larkin, all one words, on Instagram, and I'll put them in the chat.
Thank you, Vail. Vail, the trendsetter, Larkin. Vail's like, don't put that spotlight. Nope, I muted you already. Nope, that's the trendsetter. It's sticking. Everyone's gonna say that. Okay, well, I haven't muted anyone in a really long time. All the old school heads know what I'm talking about. So, but that was a friendly view. Okay, next coming up is Lynn Lane. And also a shout out to Sebastian, who's commenting on Facebook and has now joined us on Zoom. Yeah, I see you. I know what's going on here. This is my world. And now my world's gonna focus on Lynn Lane. Go ahead, brother, the floor is yours.
All right, so first I would like to say this has a little bit of trigger warning also in it. So deals slightly with some suicide issues. Definitely this takes the idea of the theme and subverts it a little bit. I finished it today, so this is definitely new shit. All right, it's called Broken Mirror. I was born a broken mirror. I show up in fragments when I actually can. Parts of me are split between black and white, A and Z, 0 and 10. Nothing for me is ever gray. I pull down the clouds at night, push up the trees before dawn. I looked up things I never should have. I wasn't a Boy Scout, but I can tie 100 knots. I've never owned a gun, but I bought 1,000 of them. Remember, I'm a mirror. Broken and shattered, but I still shine. I can only show you, though, the reflection of your own pain. The parts of me that hurt you are the parts of you that hurt me. Let's start over. I was born a broken mirror. My edges have cut the souls of my ancestors. They bleed as I stand in silence. Night passes for day and day passes for night. Closets are filled with blankets covered in tears meant to keep you warm. Let's start over. I show up in fragments. I am like the pieces of a broken urn whose body has already been burned, lying forgotten on the floor of a vacant home where no one has ever lived. Remember, I am a mirror, broken and shattered, but I still shine. Hold me close. Do you see me? If you look through the peephole of a glass door, do you see me more clearly? Let's start over. I am a bottle of pills that promises freedom. I'm a bottle of vodka that guarantees an escape. Just take me, you will be free. Let's start over. I love you. Please don't leave me. Let's start over. I was born a broken mirror. I'll show up if I can.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for
Lynn does it again. That's what I'm start calling you, man. Lynn does it
Awesome, Lynn.
again. Fire,
So
man.
good.
Damn.
So good to hear that.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that poem or get the text and read it because I got some theories. I feel like I'm a Marvel fan watching a Marvel movie, and I'm like, yo, I got some theories right here. But Lynn, fantastic, brother. Every time you come on too, like you are so giving of yourself. Where can the people find you online?
All right, so on Instagram, I've started a new page for my poetry, and I'll put this on there. That's Lynn Lane Arts, and my other Instagram page is Lynn Lane Photography, and then my performance stuff is transitory _ sound _ movement on Instagram, and Facebook, I'm Lynn Lane. And I want to apologize in advance because I'm going to have to check out early for the next 4 weeks. I'm taking a class, which, you know, that's the excuse we all use.
No, why is everyone clapping for him? What do you think you're doing, Lynn? Like,
but I'm going to be here fully supporting all you because I love you guys and you've made my life so much better during this pandemic. But I will have to check out at the end for 4 weeks. I'm sorry.
You know what? Right now, I'm looking at Portia Grace's screen and she's there like this, like she's about to cry. Like Portia's like, oh my God, Lynn's not going to be here. I'm going to cry. Like, see, you're making her cry. Damn it, Lynn. Okay. It's all good, brother. I love you. Make sure you put your info into the chat. And I love the new photography I saw that you went to the university.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, man.
Lynn Lane, make sure you give that dude a follow. Shout out to Portia. I know Portia does. I don't know if Portia's never been on the open mic list, but like she's always here supporting people, and I'm always like shouting her out. Yo, why is this dude picking on me? I was picking on her because she was eating last time. I think that's what it was. She was eating. I was like, yo, share. It's like, yo, why is he picking on me? All right, I'm gonna stop picking on Portia and get to a fantastic poet by the name of Andy Markert. Shout out to his dad, Mr. Markert, just in case he's checking in. All right, Andy, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead, brother, rock out.
Hey guys, I don't think I've done this one with y'all yet, so we're gonna do it. And if it's a repeat, well, enjoy hearing it again, I guess. All right, here we go. This one is called "Bind My Life in a Book of Fire." I am the author of my own experience, laying out the story of a man I haven't quite figured out how to end yet, filling it with the joys and sorrows, showing you the painful parts and metaphors so that you might feel it with me, carefully crafted out of a love to gently wrap a moment into something you can all understand, sparing you the turmoil while softly handing you my heartbreak and my triumph. I smile. My chapters always begin with a smile, a silent acknowledgement that all new things begin in hope. I chuck them out like pennies into a wishing well. I try to live in hope at the beginning and end of all things. My story is written on the scrap paper and stained bar napkins of my best intentions. Hidden in the margins are the notes of my dreams, my waking fantasies, drifting in doodles and scratches of a pen that sometimes don't find their way into the typeface of my lines. The subtext is hidden in the delight of my eyes. Find the color of my words. It's always a challenge to dive beneath the surface of my meaning. One day, I will bind the book of my life. Will you read between my lines? Place me on your nightstand and revisit the words I crafted at night before you sleep. I don't want to be on your shelf and perfect, but cracked spine and dog-eared pages, loved by the trace of your fingers and consumed by the fire of your eyes. Read me by pale lamplight. Learn me in the softness of a whisper. Read aloud my story. Underscore my life with the music of soft-turned pages. I'm not one for sterile halogens of lecture halls and bookstores. I'm a park picnic, not academic dissection. Perhaps this is how the story is supposed to end. Man distilled to words and metaphor. Perhaps the home I've always wanted is in your mind, here, in this line. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for
Very
Love that
nice.
anticipation chord ending.
It's a great
Love
poem, Andy.
that.
So
Love
Good
that.
job.
So good.
Nice and well put.
Good work,
That was
Andy.
really great.
Andy Marker. I'm loving this dude, man. Every time he rocks out, loving it. We got some talent. I told you tonight was going to be a really good night. I had a long day. Tonight's going to be a good night. Andy, where can the people follow you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Andy Meerkat with 2 T's. I'll just chuck that up in the chat.
Awesome. Please do so. Again, shout out to your dad in case he's watching. Thank you, Andy. Andy Marker. Next, coming up, man, I gotta say it, like, because I keep Elemental's like box keeps standing out because I'm seeing the WWF stuff and the legends and Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior. Like, I don't watch wrestling, but when I did, that's who was there, man. So his screen keeps popping out. So shout out to him. Okay. Kingston Nolly is next. Where I saw Kingston before. I know Kingston. There he is. Let me unmute Kingston. And Marissa's box is right next to yours. And Marissa's like, I'm so excited to hear Kingston. All right. Go ahead, Kingston. Floor is yours.
Hey everyone. So I have this poem. I think it fits the theme, but hopefully you all will be able to like see the way that it fits. My brother has never been seen. We both had eyes darker than the mahogany of our dining room table we would crawl under. Our giggles airy like the dust bunnies we'd kick up with our feet. I was first to be old enough to lay spread eagle on the grassy knoll outside our apartment. Alone, but not for long, my brother Sammy soon joined me. Together, with grass blades tickling our sides, we'd lay on the soft ground, shoulder to shoulder, watching the leaves of an oak tree wave hello. We would be silent, listening to the sounds of summer until our mother called for me. Never the both of us, just me. Sammy and I shared a doll named Esmeralda. The first time I held her, I lifted her into the sunlight streaming through our bedroom window. We marveled at the way her brown skin tone caught the light and glowed. I stroked my fingers back and forth through her curly black hair. Sammy smiled and said, "She's just like me." He was upset when I took Esmeralda to the spa and returned her with her hair in clumsy braids and nails trimmed to nubs. Sammy told me she was beautiful precisely how she came. When I was 3, our father took clippers to my head. It was the angriest sound I ever heard. I remember the sound of my tears hitting the bathroom floor. I remember the sight of my eyes so sore already, so tired of being tied to the expectations of my parents. I remember the sound of my heart trying to pound out of my little chest and fall to the floor and be with my beautiful long hair for one last time. I remember the sound. I remember the silence from Sammy, staring, tears snaking down his cheeks from the ducts of his wide obsidian eyes. Later that night, Sammy and I laid in our bed. as calm as the moonbeams floating through our window blinds. Over and over, I pulled my fingers through Esmeralda's hair. My head was cold, fresh cut follicles still sensitive. I fell into a fitful sleep. When my hair was the length of hedgehog quills, I had gotten used to the way I looked, but still heard echoes of the kids who mocked my boyish cut. Sammy said, "You are not your hair. You are who you want to be." I wanted the voice of the man on Sammy's favorite cassette tape. I wanted a voice that would make the speaker grills of boomboxes quake. But I also wanted to make our parents proud, so I twisted myself into a trophy that I thought would be to their liking. I stopped being myself at a young age, grew up too quickly, and forgot about you. I'm sorry. I can remember your eyes, but not the angle of your nose. I remember the length of your hair, but not the pattern of your curls. But now it's time to let go, time to be who I want to be.
Unmute yourselves.
What a piece.
Wow.
That's what you
Nice.
are. You are beautiful.
Beautiful,
Nice.
Snow.
Can't wait to come
Beautiful.
through, man.
Wow.
Yes, Kingston.
That just was. Thank you.
What a journey. What a journey. Wait. I lost. Oh, here he is. All right. What a journey that one was. Like, yeah, it total poetic license. So it all fits in. And I like the way you did it. But I know you said you wrote this a while ago.
Yeah, I wrote it a while ago, end of last year, but I felt like it kind of fit.
It does. It totally does. So I know you got a lot of new fans. They're gonna want to know they can find this poem and more yourself. Kingston, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, kingston.nolly, and I'll put it in the chat.
Please do. Thank you for not being a stranger. It's like I think your third or fourth time with us. All right, you're gonna have to become addicted too. All right, and don't pull no Lynn Lane telling us that you got to leave early for class. All right, Kingston.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Kingston Nolly. Make sure you put that info into the chat. Loving it. We have some new faces here that I don't recognize in hanging out with us, like Epiphany Divine. I see you, Epiphany. You are popping on screen. I don't know what it is that you did today, but keep doing it because you are popping on screen. So who else? There was some others I saw. Don't worry, Portia. I'm not going to talk about you again. I'm talking about new people that I saw. Who else? Jared Ariello. I hope I'm saying your name right. Checking in. Appreciate you, Jared. I don't think I've ever seen you before. Francis Gome. I hope I'm saying your last name right. I don't know, man. Looking really awesome with the beard. It's beard season. If me and Francis were to cross in the street, I would have to move out of his way because his beard is much larger. That is the way of the beard culture. If you don't know about it, I can't talk about it. Who else? There was someone else that I had seen that never saw in here before. I don't know, maybe they turned off their video. Okay, and of course later on I'm gonna shout out more people who, who just come in and give us love and want to hear all the poets, and that's so great because all you poets make me look good. And then I get to meet all these new people and all I'm doing is introducing you. Like Nick Paleologos, who's next? Nick, how you turn your video off when you were next, dude? Come on. All right.
I was checking the chat. I'm on mobile. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, Nick. I just want to say that I know that me and you are very happy that DJ Clearance Packers lost. I just wanted to put that out there. Love you, DG. All right, go ahead, Nick.
Sounds good. So I want to say before I begin, Kingston, that was an awesome piece right there. And I don't really do persona pieces, so I decided to give this a crack at it. This one's called Intro. Charlie Supernova. That's his name. He is my alter ego, my stage presence, my zero. That even though we are dual opposites, we are both cosmic entities in this same vessel. Charlie loves to show affection. He is the sensitive side, that sensual side that makes you go, ooh-wee. Charlie also activates when alcohol or drugs are consumed. He is my guiding light, the person I needed when I was younger to help me, and getting me out of trouble. He will talk to the people while I'm better off by my lonesome. He handles all the attention while I require none of it. Charlie causes chaos with chatter. Charlie is kind, like me. Charlie sometimes isn't humble, but knows when to be. We now have an agreement in place. As long as I don't abuse the negative natures of the universe, he will teach me, guide me, and aid in learning. And we are a fusion, no longer dual personas. When we are done with life, like a supernova, we will burst into the sky. Best believe the night's going to shine brighter when we are gone. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Nick.
Yeah.
Nice, Nick. Nice, man. Way to come through.
Yes.
That's good.
Much appreciated.
Nick Paleologos, and which is really awesome too, is that your face kept coming in and out in your body, like you're talking about this other persona. You know what I'm saying? It was awesome, Nick. Where can the people find you online?
You can find me online at The Real Nick P on Instagram. That's TheRealNickP on Instagram. And also, if you guys want to also collaborate, you can DM me on Instagram or also email me at npr2389@gmail.com. I'll drop all that info in the chat. Thank you again, Advocate, and all the pandemic poets.
Appreciate you, Nick. Nick Paleologos. He's going to put his info in the chat. Make sure you check that. Next up is Elizabeth Strauss. Here, it's another week and it's another beanie. I love it. I love it. Go ahead, Elizabeth. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Advocate. I got new shit here, so let's just go for it. Some would say a woman of many personas. Her Kenny G blonde highlighted locks under a baseball cap backwards or fuck me beanie, wrapped in leather on a cold winter's day or muscle tee on a hot summer evening, guided by her chakra beads keeping her balanced. Some may believe she hides behind a killer smile, hazel eyes, piercings, and holy ink, the confident business etiquette, golf goddess. And yet this is all the same woman, an almost 30-year-old athlete, wordsmith, and entrepreneur who is unafraid to not stick to the status quo. They would say her public persona is very unlikable, too confident, perceiving her as intimidating. Confidence does not mean intimidating. Confidence builds over time like anything else. If that is how one chooses to perceive it, so be it. Her private persona rarely differs from her public one, no shame in wearing her heart on her sleeve, showing off her scars, speaking her mind as much as she humanly can. The Kenny G blonde highlighted locks under a fuck me beanie, wrapped in leather lesbian, garnished with chakra beads, piercings, holy ink, and a killer smile. The beanie wearing soul sister. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves.
Yes.
Come through there.
Right there. There we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Strauss becoming a Monday night mainstay herself. Elizabeth, where can the people find you online?
Instagram, ES_Strauss and Broadway Broker _NY. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you all.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Strauss. And I knew that Elizabeth was going to be rocking out tonight because she made a post on Instagram and the Nuyorican put it in their story. So make sure that you are following the Nuyorican on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram because they like to share your stuff. Also, make sure that you follow me and tag me in it because I like to share the stuff too. Next coming up is Tessa Somok. Yes, I feel like I haven't heard Mr. Tessa Somok in a while. Maybe not on a Monday. I think I heard him on a Thursday. There's been a while on a Monday.
All right. You ready, buddy?
Go ahead, man. I'm strapped in. Let's go.
Strap in, advocate, because you're going to be advocating. The dark night of fascism. Their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble, they're only as good as the world allows them to be. Joker, Batman, The Dark Knight. Our existential anxiety has been settled. Our desire for normalcy can be reclaimed. Contradictions and tensions have been forcefully revealed. Exploited is the gap between declared liberal values and political reality. The latent desires and emboldened expressions of identity in politics and people were no longer marginalized or silenced. We could return to our libidinal liberal desires. Our return to normality can be amped up. The sense of relief permeates the nation where once an era of constant turmoil and falsehoods reigned. The notion of normalcy remains empty, scaled down at inauguration with handful of physically distant mass participants and surrounded by militarized landscape of piss stain and trash strewn failed coup d'etat. Clearly a simulacrum of normalcy sanitized with a national emergency and streaming airwaves. The aberration of temporary deviation in the American psyche surrounded by the desire for the sense of relief. This is a reaffirming moment for those resistors who held out to the peachy charm. The cat in the orange toupee in Michel Serres' terms for the parasite, the unwelcome visitor, the unruly ogre of disorder, the one-sided para, and the location, site, the medium or being through which communication must pass. In the last 4 years, unleashed were the libidinal forces of illiberal democracy, undermining the commitment to constitutionalism, the rule of law, the individual rights, the parasite, the static that interrupted the transmission of normative messages. Let us reminisce on the fragility of the social and political order that we take for granted. You see, historical amnesia is a component of the American worldview, commonly displacing other challenges in our politics. The dark night of fascism is always this parasite adopt the functional roles. Yeah.
Lost you at fascism is the terrorism or race. Something you were going in and out.
The dark night of fascism?
Yes, go ahead.
Dark night of fascism is always descending on us, the parasite, the uninvited guest, or the social parasite. The parasite adopts a functional role. We survive the parasite's abuse. Use succeeds abuse, and exchange follows use. A social contract is imagined. We are comfortable in our entitlement, which blunts and deactivates our imagination. It's hard to imagine a life other than this one or any reason to undo it. Galvanized by near messianic leadership, the fantasy has become pervasive and is deeply embedded in the imaginations and fears and desires of millions of Americans. It cannot simply or swiftly be undone. The parasite gives the host the means to be safe from the parasite. The organism reinforces its resistance and increases its adaptability. It is moved a bit away from its equilibrium, and it is then more strongly at equilibrium. The generous hosts are therefore stronger than the bodies without visits. You see, the astonishing thing is not that some people steal or that others occasionally strike, but rather that those who are repressed do not normally rebel. Why do they not continually strike? Why do we tolerate the humiliation of the parasite to the point that we actually want humiliation and the parasite? But ultimately, the parasite marries ideology, social and cognitive order. This produces the mantra, desire desires its own repression. If desire is repressed, it is because every position of desire, no matter how small, is capable of calling into question the established order of society. It is explosive, tearing down Capitol buildings. Such a desiring machine can't be built without tearing whole social parasites. The dark night of fascism, the Joker, is a logical object that is both indispensable and fascinating, placed in the middle or at the end of a series that has a law of order. It permits it to bifurcate, to take on another appearance, another direction, a new order.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Mr. Tussle.
Very nice.
Yes. Another incredible.
Yes,
I need another diploma,
Bravo.
Justice Omo. I need a diploma for that one.
Mr. Tessasomo handing out degrees in his poems. What? I'm loving it. Where can we find you online, brother?
Sure. You can find me on Gaseous 29. And actually, now that Mr. DJ Claring is here, I want to thank him for inspiring me to put the Pandemic Poets Facebook group. I want to thank you and acknowledge your inspiration. And I have it in the About page. And one day you will share your Pandemic poem, and then we can put it on there so everybody understands where it came from. And so you can obviously find me there. And thank everybody for putting up with these lectures.
Appreciate it. Mr. Tessasomo, if Mr. Tessasomo was in my college, I would have dropped out. Yeah, I'm a college dropout. But I didn't marry Kim Kardashian. Oh, man. That's Kanye West reference. If you don't. All right, moving on. So shout out to DJ Clearing, inspiring people. But his Packers lost. I'm going to keep doing it because I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I think he knows it. And Mr. Tessasomo was like, oh, I'm going to get advocating because he knows I love me some comic books, man. I'm a nerd. Throw in some Batman and Joker in there. What? All right. Let me keep moving. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about other stuff. Easter Dodge. Where is Easter Dodge? I saw her. Let me... Wait, is that Poetic Desire? Right? Okay. So wait, I'm trying to unmute you. Unmute. There we go. So do you want me to call you Poetic Desire instead?
Yeah, you can. That's fine.
All right. Did I just put your government out there? I hope you're not witness protection program.
It's fine. No, either way is fine.
All right, cool.
So unique.
Go ahead.
All right. So let me ask you, are you ready to escape reality and see why my words are so desirable to hear? Then listen to this poem and see if I can quench your thirst for poetic teasings. This is called Desired Indulger of Fantasies. An escapist of reality, I seek mesmerizing worlds of fantasy. Worlds I seek to explore myself, worlds I seek to invite you into, worlds I seek to tantalize others, giving just a taste, a nibble, a dribble of fantastical desires, dripping, seeping into your subconscious domain, enveloping, arousing your inexperienced imagination, to bring you an experience unthought of, unheard of, building up a passion incomparable to rationality, giving rise to ghostly aspirations of discarded illusions, delusions that test your limits of sensibility. For myself, I sense indulgence of desires I've long been denying myself of, deprived, neglected. I've rejected many opportunities to solicit seductions, to beg for what I desired most, to have what I wanted be wishfully granted readily, without request, without mention, but to be seized with surprise, impromptu indecencies. Instead, I find I am my own indulger. I masturbate with sexual innuendos tickling my clit, but not the one you're thinking of. The epicenter clit of sexual arousal sensitively found within my brain, sending out signals with thrilling tingles, teasings of sweet release through my imagined realms penned through wordplay tangos, till reading and hearing, playing those images on repeat gets this escape gratification. For a moment, feels orgasmic, a release into reality, merging fantasy with actuality. For others, you'll sense indulgence of fantasies, unexplored notions, suggestive impulses, exposing erotical enjoyments, unaware you craved, hallucinatory projections I've now unveiled to you. Making love to your imagination full of untapped passion, I've inserted a world that has penetrated, embedded itself deep within covered sheets of your brain's rippled layers, lying in bed with you behind closed eyes of musing mind melds, stroking your subconscious into consciousness, awakening hidden desires brought to the surface to finger and fondle the tantalizing thoughts within. Erogenous imagery seducing every cell in your body, envision the action unfolding, Feel groping sensations, grasping tightly to nerve endings, building up pressure just from the words you hear, whispered from lips, stunning sexualized secrets. Use me, don't abuse me. Desire me, don't require of me, but let me freely flow my fantasy world of tempting tantalizations into your indulgent imagination. An escapist of reality, teasing myself is a sought after proclivity, but teasing others satiates me to the fullest, witnessing pleasurable effects of my persona's tryst. So come if you dare, come seek me out, your desired indulger of fantasies, here to show, here to give you pleasure without a doubt. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Poetic Desire.
Thank you,
Very nice.
Nice. I love that.
Agreed.
Without a doubt.
Very nice. Did it come through?
Do that.
You were warned, no censorship. You were all warned, no censorship. And I know Poetic Desire rocked out on Thursday night, but this is our first time rocking out on a Monday night. Where can we find you online? Wait, I'm trying to unmute you. You're still muted. You're still muted. I'm trying to, I keep asking to unmute you.
There we go. All right. On Facebook, I'm Poetic Desire with a K for poetic. And I do a lot of six-word memoirs on that side as Poetic Pisces.
Awesome. Thank you. Make sure you put that information into the chat as well. Poetic Pisces, I'm a Pisces. Rock out to the Pisces. All right, so we have someone new on our Monday night online open mic, and we're going to continue with that theme as we go to Alana Caslin. Let me unmute Alana.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. This is your first time with us, correct?
This is my first time. Thank you.
Awesome. Where are you
I'm
located?
glad you guys are doing this. And I feel so at home being around other poets. So it's been a beautiful night.
Awesome. And where are you located, Alana?
I am in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I got love for Atlanta. Cool.
Yes, yes. This is not my hometown, but this is my home.
I got you. I got you.
It's all about persona. So I'm going to carry on the persona. I'm going to share two poems. Both of them are my original work, and one of them is from a project that I did CD, and another one is for a project that I did for someone else on their CD. And this is called, the first one is called I Have Awakened. My thoughts have crystallized. My ideas have been actualized. My dreams shall materialize. My fears crucified. I have awakened. My identity will be recognized. My message vocalized. My aura personified. My spirit shall be eternalized. My power has finally been realized. I have awakened. So that was the first one, I have awakened. The next piece is called The Instrument. My body's a delicate instrument, so be careful how you play. Keep the beat, don't lose the rhythm, and I'll cry out in harmony. Be cautious and selective. Learn just what strings to pluck. I'm a saxophone whining from the break of dawn till dusk. Whining out the love from the sunset to the shining of the moon. Hear the whistling of my flute and the yearning for the tune. As you beat me like a drum, slow vibrations I will hum. With your fingertips, you play me, bouncing them from key to key. I'm the tone and the dynamics, your love for music is in me, the instrument.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for a
Love
lot.
it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Absolutely
good.
love it.
Loved
That's how
it.
you show up and show out on that.
Fucking both.
Hell yeah.
Great pieces.
What a way to introduce yourself to the community, Alana Castling. Where can the people find you online?
I am on YouTube, and I'll put the link inside the chat. I'm also on Instagram. I just started an Instagram page recently called The Power of Words Spoken. And I also have another link if you're interested in any of my work.
Cool. Please put it all into the
I
chat.
am. Thank you.
Alana,
Thank you for listening, everybody.
thank you for joining us. Alana Castling, do not be a stranger, Alana. Next, coming up is, now we're going to go to a Monday night mainstay, Trisha De Jesus. This woman is involved in so much with interviewing people and writing poetry and being on open mics and going to workshops and hosting her own open mic. Trisha, how are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Ready to get into it?
Yes, I'll get right into it. Thank
Go ahead.
you. Where does all the time come from and where does it go? How are some people aces at harnessing it to its fullest potential and others arbiters of flailing about, people like me? I am drowning in my daily to-dos that are not even the half useful to anyone else. And all let me start again, I'm sorry. Where does all the time come from and where does it go? How are some people aces at harnessing it to its fullest potential and others arbiters of flailing about like me? I am drowning in my daily to-dos that are not even half useful to anyone else at all in a more grand scheme of things. And that slow dawning realization adds to my overall feeling, my fear really, that what I'm doing doesn't really count. Do I really count? Who am I touching with what I endeavor to complete? Who are my efforts' filaments licking? And are they hooking into their skin, connecting? Is anyone actually out there? And more importantly, does anyone really give a shit? My second fear reared its big, grotesque head this morning while I was going through the motions of washing my face, lathering up to a froth, my brain's own soapy doubts, keeping pace with the multiplying bubbles, rinsing, patting my face with my towel to finish the ritual before silently screaming into its fabric loops. This is what surfaced with the grime. The idea horrifies me, and I already feel abandoned, thinking how I'm spreading myself too thin for every single other person in this spatial confidence where we only allow a teaser of the whole. I'm doing this while neglecting myself. Here, I'm giving nameless people power to hurt me when they move on eventually to the next bright, shiny thing emerging, and its bright, glowing head crowns from my creative birthing pangs. And I will have spread myself so threadbare that I will find so many holes for me to keep track of, too many holes where others can pass through, taking bits of me with them to savor and leave nothing of me behind. In the end, I know I will feel it like a physical ache. I will not have anything left to help me remember who I still claim I am. Taking stock, making lists has had a surprising power to console me with their ordinariness. Enumerating unimpressive and physical things about myself has become grounding. I am 5 feet tall, if I'm generous with the measurement, 4 feet and 10.5 inches, if I'm going to be more truthful. No more vertical growth happened after that. I suppose I went through a growth spurt until 4th grade, and it produced whatever lengthening of my bones the goddess in their flighty favor felt fit to give me, whatever they deemed was good enough before they decided to be stingy with their graces. Mercurial behavior, sure, but can consistency ever be expected of the gods when the whim is what sharpens their teeth on? Refocus, mundane. I have black hair. It is now more and more salt and pepper with each passing day. Will I recolor it? I am seriously considering this undertaking, but will not cave in to the urge if it is paean of misplaced vanity. I think and I speak in tangents. I can't help myself. This is me through and through. And that can be a trait that is brilliant in the right company and damning in the wrong crowd. I am still a poet in my semi-conscious hours, writing words on the ceiling in luminescent, trailing imaginary ink while I lie on my back on my bed, dreaming up scenarios birthed from nothing, perfect, intimate lines that reveal more than I care to spill. I am effusive and endlessly chatty when you have breached the cautions I have put up, and I draw you into my inner circle. Something you say clicks, or you do something that is giving of your soul and mind, and I am lassoed in. To the rest of the world, I am a wall. But the wall deceives in its outward graciousness. It makes you believe it is penetrable. It makes you believe there are doors and invitations where there are never any to begin with. It smiles, and the smile does not wane until it's tested too long and too often. You try to penetrate these invisible barriers without my welcome first. You try to impose yourself, thinking foolishly that we are kin in how we comport, how we breathe, and how we bleed. We are not. Stop. You are beyond my threshold. Still, I smile a little more. Stop. You walk about and your scent is cloying. It fills my halls. Still, I smile. But do you not see my eyes widen? Stop. 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 But at this point, you will not leave. You will not cease talking, creeping upon my mind's most secret crevices. This is where you will find my smile falters, but I will remain unfailingly polite. My mouth does not work. It refuses to do more than be apple red and inviting. The words no, 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 no will never be heard tumbling out. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Trisha De
Nice.
Jesus.
Oh, Trisha. Always bring the heat. Always bring the heat.
Cheryl.
Trisha De Jesus. She went, I told you she's the truth. Trisha's the truth. And why did I lose her? Wait, now I lost her. Oh, here. Okay, I got her. She's the truth. You need to follow her. She's doing so much. Trisha, where can the people follow you online?
They could follow me on Instagram at Finn_Bell. I'll put it in the chats. Thank you.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you for being the mainstay. Thank you for always giving of yourself here online. I so appreciate it. Trisha De Jesus, make sure you go give her a follow. She's involved in a bunch of different things and you're gonna love all of it. Okay, moving on. Generalissimo, who I actually didn't hear. I see Scott Pleasant. Shout out to Scott Pleasant. That's my dude. I'm gonna be talking about him in a little bit. He doesn't know why, but I'm going to. Here's Generalissimo. Let me unmute him. And hi to Luciana. Hi, Luciana. I see you. Generalissimo, brother, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Advocate. Let's see what we got for everyone today. Isn't Trisha the poetry goddess? I think that's what we ought to call her, a poetry goddess. She talks about goddesses a lot in her poetry, but her poetry, when you hear her voice, it doesn't matter how sad or how angry it is. It takes you to a place of zen. Her voice is just so smooth and wonderful. It's like a river, you know? Anyways, that's my thought about Trisha. Okay, let's go ahead and see what I have for everyone today. We will start off, like usual, with a little haiku. Poetry is thought trapped inside a poet's mind, released as good noise. The next poem is an ekphrastic poem, but I'm reading it because of the ring that was worn by Amanda Gorman during the inauguration, which was a caged bird that was given to her by Oprah, to memorialize Maya Angelou. So this is called Why the Cage Therapy Patient Pains. I don't think Renee Magritte knew Maya Angelou from Adam or even Eve. She was only 9 when he painted The Therapist in 1937. The painting depicted the top half of a sitting man's body as a bird cage, partially covered with a blanket with 2 doves inside. I think maybe he time traveled and landed in 1969 Harlem, wandered into a bookstore and heard a Black American woman's learned voice reading the book she wrote, speaking a truth in a way he had never heard a woman speak before. When he returned to 1937, he destroyed the time machine. He sat contemplating the future for at least an hour or two and realized women had minds of their own that were being wasted by being treated as second-class citizens and being married off. He realized his society caged women in, and in doing so, caged men in by happenstance. He felt caged in himself. Without realizing it, he had been to psychotherapy, and Maya Angelou was his therapist. And the next piece is called Why I Keep a Midwife on Speed Dial. Anger does not always happen as screaming, yelling, stomping of feet, fist clenching, teeth gritting, furrowed brows, tattered nerves. Anger is not always born of aggression. It can be born of hurt and confusion. From a womb unaware of the existence of its pregnancy, conceived via an act of deception or betrayal, from a night of passion that foreshadowed a proposal of forever, but materialized into a morning after with an empty other side of the bed that transformed into an insidious, compartmentalized ghost. Anger is not always loud. Anger can exist in silence and stagnation. Anger may not have hard edges that cut and bruise all who come in contact with it. It can be soft. It can be amorphous, made of quicksand, encompassing its host in suspended animation, causing phantom paralysis till whoever owns it realizes the phantom is a phantom, a figment of an emotion or a feeling or a reaction to a life event or events that happened in the past that is exactly what it is, the past, which can't exist in the present or future due to the fact that the past can only exist in the past. Then the anger starts to shed its skin to reveal a hollow inside that is a breath long held, now exhaled and let go. Gracias, everyone.
Let it go, let it go. Give it up for Generalissimo.
That
was dope.
So much.
Love that. That was beautiful.
Thank you,
Dope piece.
Generalissimo.
General coming through as always. And this is another dude who is everywhere. You need to follow him. He is everywhere. Generalissimo, before you let the people know where they can find you online, please, it is teaching time. Let them know what an ekphrastic poem is.
It is a poem about a painting. So you can just describe it generally, or you can tell a story that you think it tells. So and you do a lot of these in workshops every now and then. So I wanted to just make an announcement that on February 5th, and I just put this into the chat, I'm going to be featuring at something called They Call Me Mitch, which is in San Francisco. And I put all the time zones in there, but it's I guess it's 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific time and everything else in between. And so it's a really good kind of a different kind of open mic, but it's a real enjoyable one.
Awesome. The Generalissimo, I appreciate you as always, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, Advocate.
Generalissimo, he doesn't flirt with me like he does with La Bruja, so I know I'm only his second favorite. But you know, I still show up for him. All right, next up is Paul con queso.
I just want to say what's up with all the gender discrimination. I'll flirt with you, Advocate. I'll flirt with you anytime, bro. Cause like we got withdrawn, not writing about us. Then we got people not wanting to flirt. It's like what's going on with all this?
And we working hard on our beards, man. Working hard on our beards, you know.
Feeding them biotin and shit, you know.
Yeah, but right now Francis is making us look bad. That new dude, he's making us look bad, man. His beard is big. It needs a room on its own. But all right, cool. Shout out to Francis. All right, let me mute myself. Go ahead, Paul.
We could just give the beard its own Zoom screen. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to give shouts out to Advocate for always pushing us and giving these prompts, because I wrote this entire poem today, like in the time I got back from the grocery store until now. And I started writing a persona poem, and it's hard for me to like stick to prompts because I give my students prompts all the time and I give them shit for not fully following. But I started writing a persona and then it became true to me. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to follow it. So it's kind of hybrid persona. It's called mastering. Bubbles rise. A gulp, a gasp for air, a hand emerges, cutting like a skipping stone being thrown along the river bend. I went to camp from the ages of 8 to 10. I mean, a real fucking doozy of a bougie ass summer camp, like a mortgage per summer kind of camp, amidst the most affluent types of kids, fortunate kids, the starter types, the my mom's a lawyer type. This camp, a central Jersey oasis set beside the richest Jewish neighborhood this side of the Hudson River's bagel and locks. Meanwhile, my cereal for dinner southward Nork dwelling self served my sentence with all the thrill of an Easter Island statuesque tourist unaware of the privilege and could only afford those summers because my dad worked here as a counselor, and instead of getting paid, we went for free. Me and my sister spent our waking daylight there, going about all kinds of privileged people shit, singing song-alongs in the morning, cruising down river in canoe of excess in afternoon, and before heading home, whatever ice cream treat you could fucking dream, and you never had to pay for it, nor chase down some hello blaring potential maniac with bodies in the back of their Mr. Softy trucks, perhaps, never having to choose between cookies and cream, pebbles and push-ups and sonic pops, plucking out gumball eyes to plop in mouth, and there, we never went without. Like back at home, scrounging for nickels and dimes inside mom's penny jar just for a single cone. Times were hard, and I was assured that I alone would have to change our course in life. That in a summer or two, if nothing improved for us, I would start working under table, maybe be able to be financially stable with no need for dry, fruity pebbles as dinner. Nights at home, latchkey alone because mama was a rolling stone and we'd wait statuesque for the turn of her key to finally sleep, remembering days I'd sit stone-faced in fields at Riverbend, witching to ditch and dip and coast off the surface like skipping stones, staring at reflections bouncing off river bends, always picked last, but okay with that. In my eyes, it was better to be an island relying on no tide than some needy peninsula or inlet which needs to feed from some riverbed, always fed. But perhaps that was the root of histrionic thoughts, becoming rigid and unmovable, sitting in privilege like summer afternoons spent in cabins crafting pottery, sand collages, and lanyard swimming laps in a regulation Olympic-sized pool, digesting moves and proper strokes from back to breast to dead man's float, learning best methods to hold one's breath in the crook of your throat in case you ever had to go and save someone. They'd equip us with ability to carry mannequins, the statuesque, heavy as stone, from floor of the pool, to learn the time and pressure and effort it takes to shoulder one's weight displaced in arms, how far you must go to reach surface, and carry from harm's way, how long a body can take submerged before it's a loss, even teaching us to administer CPR, 30 chest compressions, and 2 rescue breaths. I learned it takes 98 seconds deprived of oxygen before brain damage takes hold, and each year we advance through the ranks of swimming expertise, 1 per summer. Only the best get 2, but it was my aim to climb 3. This year I knew was my final there, climbing ranks, minnow to barracuda, to stingray, dolphin, shark, assuming part of apex predator, no more being preyed upon, wanting to be picked, but doing the picking to cut the water like a fin. Perhaps this kid, this pup, this minnow shark could finally feast for once instead of being chum. Intention to level up and serve life preserver in case of emergency. At worst, you could save a life. At best, you return that summer after you age out and do your best. Baywatch impression in red shorts, spending every lunch forming cup cans, fumbling on dry land, but filled grace submerged in hydrogen. This Magikarp splashing about. A shark circled the sunlit surface above, my minuscule minnow-esque body flailing beneath, doing its best not to be seen. 20 seconds, bubbles rising, lungs compressing. 35 seconds, holding breath. 46, face bluing like barracuda. 58, stinging rays of light piercing muddled sight. 61, body twist and turning like dolphin at the edge of evolution, from Magikarp to Gyarados, minnow to shark, boy to something larger than this body, serving as counterweight, as anchor, saying nothing, words escaping like breath. In the pool, a sea, my technique becoming sight to behold, a most tranquil stone, the hunger pang, sense of angst, flutter floating in gut, rising up as the bubbles escape, body becomes monolith, holding breath far longer than possible, 67, 79, 95, seconds passing, and now no breath, no tread, no dread spreading, just static washing over me. You know, the cliche goes that right before you die, your entire life's supposed to flash before your eyes like some midnight show of self-encapsulating anamnesis. But in this moment, devoid of breath, I saw nothing screen crawl but the color black. Stone cold expression and not one memory, the slump of defeat mixing with victory until I felt the arms of someone. I called a friend, coming to rescue when the light returns. Eyes cut surface like fin, oxygen pumping lungs, and all at once you realize you're back in the land of the living where you are still far more Magikarp than anything else evolved. You freeze this moment to catch it all, like Master Ball. As you flail, you splash, water spurts from your nose like a gutted shark's stomach, violent like bile, and just like the stone you are, doing what you do best, sinking into yourself, because little does anyone realize all that time you spent waiting, surfacing, bottoming, emerging again, cutting off breath, that you were never practicing how to swim, but doing your best to master the art of drowning and still somehow letting yourself down.
Unmute yourselves and give that man
yeah,
some
brother.
love.
Paul.
Okay.
Cold queso.
I miss you
For
so
real.
much.
Wow.
After the art of
Oh,
drowning, for
love
real.
you.
Come on, man.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, so this dude always goes in and he's an educator as well. And he has published some work of the people who have attended the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Paul Conque, so where can we follow you online, sir?
If you want to follow me, hop on the link tree to find all the books and all the upcoming shit and all of that. It's at Paul Conqueso on Instagram. And I appreciate y'all for the platform, for the love. Love y'all so much. Looking forward to seeing everybody else kill it.
Thank you, Paul Conque. So shout out to Rosie. We haven't heard her in a while. So some New Yo love. Shout out to her. We see the hand. We see the Rosie hand. That's all we get. That's all. She's shy. If Paul doesn't show up tomorrow, you know who killed him. Like, I told you I didn't want to be on the internet tonight. Didn't I tell you? All right, next coming up, the urban cowboy poet. We're gonna get some legends told. Where is he? I saw him before. Why do I keep moving? They keep moving. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got him. They keep moving. I don't know. Zoom is moving all the boxes for me. The urban cowboy poet. There we go.
Advocate, did you skip somebody, Deanne or something?
Oh, no. Ma Dukes had to bail out. She hit me
Ma
up.
Dukes. Okay, cool
Yep.
enough.
Yep. So you're good to go. Go ahead. What
This
a gentleman.
seems easy. In so-called real life, I'm an educated urbanite, but my favorite persona is the urban cowboy poet. I put on a fake cowboy accent and tell really non-cowboy stories, like this one, Chess Master Disaster. Every Russian boy who ain't a fool is taught to play some chess. Nikolai Titov, just out of school, is taught to be the best. Fans followed him on his journey towards becoming a grandmaster to this most important tourney, not suspecting a disaster. Nick was leading the championship, which lasted 7 days. Every pair of kibitzers' lips was singing Titov's praise. The way he moved his rooks and queens and pushed his pawn phalanx, opponents felt like they was being scorched by Russian tanks. He jumps his knights around with joy until checkmate he forces. You can tell that Moss cowboy must truly love his horses. He'll earn the GM title if he can win this game. Otherwise, this night will only bring chagrin and shame. Chess clocks were a ticking. Last round started after dinner. Smart money was picking Nikolai to be the winner. He didn't want to sweat the show. His opponent sat there grinning. Titov faced his toughest foe, the dread Sergei Dubrynin. As Nikolai began the bout, he seemed in the groove, not hassled. He calmly brought his pieces out. On the seventh move, he castled. He played the way he won all week, opening files and setting traps. Then in a while, his game looked bleak. His position had collapsed. He'd studied rival strategies till his eyes were sore, but this one employed gadgetry he'd never seen before. Normally, he'd be crushing, even though he's playing black. This time White was rushing into a fierce kingside attack. Nikolai felt pressure that he prayed he could keep hidden. Sergei grinned like a Cheshire cat who'd ate something forbidden. Mixed Pieces had no place to go. Where had he gone wrong? That sneering, sniveling evil foe had locked him in Zugzwang. Usually Tito's domination of all the 64 forced opponents' resignation when they couldn't take no more. But this here game was causing him dismay and consternation. Danger loomed in Tito's brain, fraught with overconcentration. Steam rose in him from toe to crown, brain circuits overloaded. He turned green, then sickly brown. Then his head exploded. Kerplow! Or some Russian word for a loud exploding sound. By now that awful noise was heard at every board around. Then his brain began to splatter. The chessboard was a fright. Gooey gobs of gray matter amidst the black and white. Sergei gave no reaction. He just sat there in shock. In a rare show of compassion, he switched off Titov's clock. Like Rembrandt's strokes, they say he moved. His art was pushing wood. But Russian folks say Titov proved too smart for his own good. The match to watch, the TV said, but it turned out disgusting. No one wants to deal with heads spontaneously combusting. Dr. Martinenko, brain expert, presented his diagnosis. Nikolai had suffered hypercerebral electrosis. Don't think too hard, just take it slow, or this can happen to you. The Weekly World News said so, so you know it must be true. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves, give it up for the Urban Cowboy Poet.
Another classic, man. Another classic.
Let's go. That was really nice.
I enjoyed that. That was nice.
Right in the legend, man. I need to work on my legendary game so one day the Urban Cowboy Poet can write about me. Sir, where can the people find you online?
Actually, there's one guy who does a story. I'm thinking of translating it into cowpoke. I'll look it up. I forget who it is. Urban Cowboy Poetry on YouTube or on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always. Another Monday night mainstay, the Urban Cowboy Poet. Make sure you look him up on YouTube and Facebook. Next up is supposed to be Jody Ortega. Is Jody here? All right, let me unmute Jody. Jody, do you want to rock, or you want to go with someone else?
No, I want to give it to someone else.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Scott Pleasant started a trend a couple of months ago. I told you I was going to talk about you, Scott. I'm back to talk about you. He started a trend and he was feeling like all kinds of good and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The cute lady down the street gave him the eye. Like, you know, he was feeling good. So when he came on, he was like, you know what, Advocate? Give up my spot for someone on the waiting list who has not performed. I want to give it to someone else. And then lo and behold, the next week someone did it, and the week after someone did it. And now Jody's doing it, and Mr. Speaker's doing it as well. So appreciate you, Jody. Real cool. Let people know where they can find you online.
I don't run Baby Girl on Instagram. I'll put it in the chat, and I'm excited to see who's gonna take my place. I know what it's like to be on waitlist purgatory. So
yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Everyone I have on here has performed. Okay, so you know what? Because usually what we do is when it was with Scott, he was like, yo, you know, we should pick someone who has not performed. So everyone on the waiting list has performed. So if you want, Jody, you can choose one of the people that you want to perform. You see the chat?
No, I'm not looking at it. Should I just give me a number between something and something?
1 and 10. Give me a number between 1 and 10.
7.
7. Okay, wait. Oh, everyone stop posting in the chat. You're moving it up on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They doing it on purpose. 10, 9, 8, 7. Diane Ward.
Diane.
But I don't think Diane is here. Is Diane here? I don't see. Diane is not here. Shout out to Complicated Passions, who's here. Mariela Cabrera, Lawrence Chan, Tara Lee, Donata, I hope I'm not saying that woman's name wrong, because she was shouting us out on Facebook and then joined us here on Zoom. To Umberto Marte, Elways. Yeah, Diane Ward's not here, so you got to give me someone else.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Ron Mark Thompson. So Ron Mark Thompson, let me unmute him. Thank you, Jody. Make sure did you put your info in the chat, Jody?
Oh yeah, I will.
Please
Thank you.
Jody Ortega, thank you. Giving up someone in the waiting list. Where's Ron?
I'm here. You already unmuted me.
There you go. Cool. Go ahead, Ron. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Judy. And oh my God, I'm gonna have to let Diane know. She's gonna be so mad at herself, you know. Like, that's gonna be cool. All right. And as Paul said, yeah, your themes are really challenging. I mean, like, I just finished writing this like 20 minutes ago, but it's good because we need that, you know. So you are the medicine that we need every week, advocate, you know, so I appreciate it. So here we go. And I hope I got it right. I didn't know there is something like a persona poem. I looked it up after I finished writing it, so I hope I got the theme right. You'll be the judge. When I was a child, I was told that I should become a teacher in a school. It was what my communist elders, let me start again, my finger. Okay. When I was a child, I was told that I should become a teacher in a school. It was what my communist elders back in Germany, in my community, wanted. But I certainly did not want to be that. Instead, escape was on my mind, away from a life I did not choose. Ironically, I'm now teaching computer and technical skills to adults. Go figure. When I was in my 20s, having found a new country, a new city, I wanted to be a writer, as masterful as Maya, as successful as Stephen. I wrote many lines into my journal, too many, too unconnected as they turned out to be later on. Much pain preventing me from writing more. In my 30s, I wanted to be a producer, churning out hit show after hit show. Broadway, here I come. Hollywood, I'll be right there. But while the passion grabbed me, the energy and health was missing, not on point with the rest of me. In my 40s, I finally started writing, finally started producing, starting small, ground up, local in the Bronx. But in between constant phases of depression and wondering, why did God punish me and put me on this world to suffer? I still did not like me, and I wanted to be like others, a different persona. I wanted to be as fly as Advocate, emceeing the night, as bold as La Brua, dancing and singing her way through each week, not caring what anyone would think. As cool as my fellow writers in my library, penning lines effortlessly, week after week. But eventually I had to come to the realization that no matter how bad I think I am, no matter how silly I may be, the simple answer is just be me. So I think I finally settled on my favorite persona. It's no avatar, no virtual mirror, no mentor, no teacher, no celebrity. I'll have to come to terms with myself, and whether or not you like me, or whether or not you like it, you'll have to take me as I am. I may be silly, my poems may make no sense, you may tune out, but this is what you get, my persona, favorite or not, this is how I am. So I pray, my online friends, that you did not mind my latest poetic contribution tonight, hoping as always that it brought a smile and made your spirit a bit more bright. The end.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Ron Mark.
Ron does it again.
Jordan, my brother.
Loved it.
Ron, good shit, Ron.
Ron Mark Thompson. I actually met him years ago at a workshop that Charlie Vasquez was hosting. Ron was always on point. Loved it. You need to follow Ron. He is involved in so many different things. Ron, where can the people find you online?
Yes, and thank you. And I wanted to say I'm so glad I met you at Charlie's workshop. You know, it's been such a pleasure. And look, we are where we've all gone. And yeah, today you heard, you know, every week you find out more about my life. Today you heard a little bit you know, from my childhood till now, you know, and it's always good to reveal that. Advocate mentioned that I always like to promote other people's events. A good friend of Advocate, Peggy Robles Alvarez, she's teaching a poetry workshop tomorrow at 6 o'clock with Art Defined. I'll put their information in the chat. And myself, you can find me at Ron Mark Thompson, which is my Zoom handle. You can see it on Facebook and the live stream in YouTube as well. And you can follow me, Bronx Art and Fun Hub. I have lots of free programs. I'll put that in the chat as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jody. You know, I wish we would have heard from you, but thank you so much, Jody. Appreciate it.
Ron Mark Thompson. Make sure you give that dude a follow. Love having him on, man. Appreciate you, Ron. Next up, Propaganda Poet. He's addicted. This is like his fourth Monday with us. All right, the floor is yours, brother. Go ahead.
What's that? It's Monday night. What's that? Time for poetry? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just calling this now. The Monday after Thanksgiving 2021, we all got to have a Friendsgiving at the New Eurekan and do this live. Because by then, we will be vaccinated and ready to hang. So that's what I'm throwing out there. Everyone, keep that in your head. So of all my various personas, the one that seems to shock people and surprise people the most is when I was a soldier. So this poem is from then. This is why I was a deserter during the first Persian Gulf distraction. Because Gandhi said that when one is oppressed, no one is free. They tell me to be all I can be and then tell me that I can't, what I can and cannot do. Why is it so hard to get through to the people who need to hear it the most? You know, that host who invites only his friends and then pretends that we have to invade those who disagree for the protection and safety of our country. We have to liberate them from their own history and individuality so that they can be all that he wants them to be. Freedom and democracy cannot be delivered from the barrel of a gun. I'd rather just sit in the sun. I'd rather just watch the sun and sit under a tree reading Iraqi poetry. Because the only way for us all to truly be free is for each and every one of us to know what that means to be free. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Tell me where to go, sir. Tell me who to kill, sir. I've got no free will, sir. Because I gave up my right to think for myself, put it up on the shelf when you decided that Halliburton needed new oil wells. And it was a hard sell, so you packaged it in 9/11 tragedy. Haven't we learned a damn thing from history? Back in Vietnam, Uncle Sam was up to no good and then had the nerve to tell us where we stood. And then when we tried to publicly make our own stand, they gave us the back of their hands with tear gas and Kent State aftermath. Now, like a recovering abuser, they're once again telling us how that we should use our military for their corporate profits. Why the fuck aren't we doing something to stop this? Isn't this our tax dollars that they're raping for disasters of their own making? Yet we still sit silently by, watching mothers and wives and fathers and husbands cry as our strongest sons and daughters die, or come back in pieces that we can't even recognize, while we continuously uncover lies about why we're even there in the first place. They're not even doing anything to try and pick up the pieces. Should our children give their blood, sweat, and tears and souls for a cost that amounts to nothing more than a recklessly planned black hole? You know what? Maybe Nancy Reagan was right. The only way for us to truly see the light, just say no.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Poet.
Don't calm down. Don't calm down.
Nice. Go in. Just say no. Matthew Ware, I'm loving whatever you're doing with your video and your dog. I'm loving it. And shout out to Christian Elijah, who's also checking out. Christian's been with us before. Propaganda Poet, brother. Third and fourth time with us. You were addicted, got you feeling.
I'm addicted. I will keep coming back. I will keep coming back till you tell me you've had enough.
Where can we find you online?
Speaking of personas, you can see many of my personas on my YouTube channel. I just put in the chat there. It's Changeling Studios. Changeling Studios on YouTube, because I have a few different performance personas. So come check me out. And thank you, everyone. Ron, you always make sense, Ron. Don't even worry about that. Everyone here is amazing. I cannot believe that I'm part of this. And yes, I will keep coming back because, oh my God, you guys are all amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Propaganda Poet. He put his info in the chat. Make sure you give it a follow. Next, coming up is the woman who keeps throwing her hearts towards her webcam, and that is Marissa Prada. She has so much energy. She's a fantastic poet.
What is up, Nuyo? Oh, I bedazzled my heart. Yes, it's got some glitter on it now for all of you. And if you were not here on Thursday for La Bruja's special poem, I did a personalized poem. It included many of you who are here tonight. So if you did not see it, if you did not hear it, I'll probably post it. I'll have it typed up and I'll post it. But so many of you are here and you're in that poem. So it's my homage to all of you. I started writing the prompt last week and it was really, really funny. And I got very distracted. And then I wound up writing a bunch of different things. So this is what I wrote. Totally not what I intended to write for the prompt. But anyways, I think, well, here we go. It's titled The Never and the Ever. I will never be 20 years old again. I have grown into a woman who lacks the ability to bullshit. Larger breasts and hips, lips listlessly speaking my truth now. I will never be single again. I carry my yesterdays rolled up under my arm, shouting headlines like a newsie pushing pennies, pulling a red wagon of pain through quicksand boxes of motherhood, destined to be misunderstood. I will never be black between your sheets. I will never be crazy for your cocoa curiosity and sentiments about body parts on white women. I will never live in your shoes, but still well enough to lie in your bed, willing to walk through fire, burn my body, cremate my raging white privilege until I am as burnt as you, even still, surrendering to simply being a marshmallow stuck in the campfire of eyes that stare too long at the white light. I will never be stupid again. I keep a Rolodex that spins on repeat, bent ear tag corners, red strike through lines, Post-its flailing off the sides for all the times time taught me to get back up. Dedicated note section scribbled in crimson tears crusted to the cards of this just a secretary life. I will never be the glitz and glam you strut down the street. I prefer muddy boots and soiled hands, tanned skin from staying out in the sun too long, and sweaty shirts from hard work. The stench of success instead of perfume. I will never be a super freak in bed, but loathe boring sex. Loathe boring in general, crave the connection of human to human, skin to skin, stagnant, static stars that are already dead as we reach for them like the skin of dead men fallen at my feet. Futurama of nothing special if I stand still. So I sprint into the sunrise of tomorrow where I will be everything
No, where she will be everything. And then it went quiet. No, Marissa. I mean, if it had to cut off, that was like a really good place to cut off. I would be everything. And then whoosh, she becomes everything. She left Zoom to become everything. Oh, there you are. All right. That's where you left
I mean,
off.
is that where it cut off? Oh, that's easy. Okay. It's just as I will be everything you are not, but everything that someone else has sought. So yes, that's it.
There we go. There we go. Marissa, where can we find you online?
I am on Facebook, of course, Marissa Prada. I co-author The Word is Right, WRITE, and I author Poetography 505 on Facebook. I am also on Instagram, Prada Painting and Poetry. I will drop it in the chat. Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And also, because of the mess up, I didn't get to unmute everyone. So everyone, unmute yourselves and give it up for Marissa Prada.
Yay! Fantastic, Marissa.
Good stuff, Marissa. Appreciate it.
Marissa always comes through, man. Even the freeze couldn't stop her. Oh, I thought she was frozen for a second again because she was just like this. I thought she was frozen. Marissa, put your information in the chat. Everyone look in the chat to get the info from her. Mr. Speaker is supposed to be next, but he is also pulling a pleasant move. We need to think of a name for that, right? A pleasant turn or a pleasant move, right? Like, yo, so hit me up on Instagram, y'all. Give me some names for what we can call it. But I'm going to unmute Mr. Speaker so he can just tell us where we can follow him online since he has given up his spot. Trying to unmute you, Mr. Speaker.
I know, I keep muting it back. MrSpeakerInc.com, James Mr. Speaker series on Facebook. I'm trolling poetry wherever it's at, I'm at.
And Mr. Speaker Inc., that's INK, right?
That's right, I'm sorry, yes, Inc.
Yeah. Then I just want to make sure, and Mr., it's MR, right?
MR, Speaker, INK.
Okay. MR Speaker Inc. with a K.com. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. First on the waiting list is Paul Skiff. We're going into the Skiff verse. Let me unmute him. Oh, snap. We got a new background here, man. I don't know what we in for. And Paul Skiff is the first on the waiting list. So that we're at that time. You ready, Paul?
Yeah, let's go.
Go ahead.
This is a persona poem. I used to be able to do this in 4 minutes flat. We'll see if my motor skills are up to it. I like to Vale speaking up about trigger warnings, although I didn't know where she really stood on it. But every single thing in this is meant to be offensive. So take it as that. And this was originally written on request of my friend Jennifer Blowdryer for a performance she did called Holiday Inn Lounge at the End of the World, originally performed at Dixon Place around 1990. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? I turned right at the Harco food store, pump station, truck lot, hubcap broker, and tire dump down from the drive-through cancer ward. I've been flying this 25-year-old El Camino for 18 hours since Plutoville. The 351 built in Doraville is gargling eye test cut with borax. I chewed up my last 1,000 milligram doses of methamphetamine. Can't you tell, 2 hours ago. I've been listening to crack in the dashboard vibe out something like If Dogs Run Free. Every time I boost those 8 cylinders up over 80 mph. Is this it? Is this it? It was a setup by the tool and die maker, ran an extrusion plant, squeezing out plastic truncheons on contract for the school district's corporal punishment needs. That plastic man played the best rock and roll, best rock and roll, best rock and roll, best rock and roll in the city, but left for tax reasons when his wife got tired of the 17-year-old living girlfriend, got her own, felt the call, took the 2 kids out to Oklahoma to do gospel work for the kids, be registered with the County Protection Services and be under the auspices of the glue-sniffing juvie judge who kept his attic full of life-size dolls with 12-inch paving spikes driven through their eyes and liked to handcuff himself in front of the mirror with a dirty sock in his mouth as he sat naked on a frozen brick of cat food to listen to inspirational music while daydreaming about subcontracts from other side of the companies on the other side of the state that want him to sentence pre-adolescent murderers, rapists, sociopathic entrepreneurs, and teacher beaters to hard labor, stamping out bumpers in a system of alarmingly logical social retardation. I feel like a municipal city tax-wide dollar shortfall. I feel like a shutdown government. I feel like a high-tech weapons platform among overvalued targets. I've been on the road since Sault Ste. Grand, Cold Springs, Harbor Point, Wood Valley Haven. I'm a downstream effect in the abuse cycle. Is this it? Is this it? I want to see some pseudo-aristocrats leech like psychotic civil servants, 9-to-5 wage slaves, exiled to the outer boroughs, half-educated proto-fascist brainwashed college teachers who charge too much for half an education from a designer labeled as a degree mill. I want to see some unemployed computer geniuses, corporate media royalty, idea, fear, and pop culture barfers, some emotionally lobotomized careerists. I want to see a hyper-privileged billionaire mayor who thinks the city is his private toy and buy votes with junk mail. I want to tune into some cable TV networks where all the actors portray quick-witted coons on a network full of ultra-racist sitcoms, followed by the nightly casualty report. I want to go someplace like a real great big city to see me politicians who will shut down a train station, neighborhood park, and a hospital so there'll be enough money saved to give themselves a pay hike. I want to see an entertainment zone where Disneyland and porno cater to the same customers. I want to see me people who think that if someone's got a different color of skin, they are the cause of all the problems and should have their body opened up with a gun, knife, broken bat bottle, pushed off a roof, hit with a police club or car bumper. I'm going to get me a real skyscraper size ego and wave it around in front of everyone, in front of this artless, loveless, sexless Republican Democrat refrigerator of a turnpike-less hierarchical human garbage heap. I'm going to give money a direction to flow in. I'm going to be distracted from the late capitalist horrors of global capitalism. Get me some artistic entertainment. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this that cinematically abusive fairy tale? That prison industrial complex waiting room? That cable network studio torture chamber? I want to see a real live performance. Is this it? Is this that Holiday Inn lounge at the end of the world? Anybody got any PB-29s? I feel like having my mood stimulated.
Give it up for Paul Skip.
Oh my
Damn,
God,
Skip.
Paul.
Damn.
Oh my God.
In the world there.
Arrow.
Man, you are a complete mind job.
Incredible 4
A
minutes.
complete mind job.
Paul Skip. He is actually a New Eureka Poets Cafe OG. I say it every week. He has more say and more claim to this open mic than I do. He is fantastic. I love his energy, man. And I miss, I used to host the open mics at 1 a.m. on Fridays. And when I was done with it, I was so happy. But one of the things I did miss was seeing Paul. Paul would just show up every now and then, come rock out. Paul, where can the people follow you online, brother?
This is paulskiff.com. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Someone said it earlier, and I'm sorry I missed it, but, this makes getting through this time doable. You all are very vital to me, and I value hearing your voices every week. It's really very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul Skiff. Make sure you check him out, paulskiff.com, man. He got the history of the New York in his back pocket. You need to speak with him. And as you can see, if this is your first time being exposed to him, dude is filled with a lot of talent. So speaking of some legendary characters from the New Eureka Poets Cafe, shout out to La Bruja. She texted me. She told me she was checking in. I love you, sis. Shout out to her. Next, coming up on our waiting list, I have Jane Spoken Word. We're going to get to Jane. Oh, shout out to Hoaraku, who I saw checking in. I'm not sure if I shouted him out. Let me unmute Jane. I'm trying to unmute Jane. I love the background. I love the big windows and the city in the back. Go ahead, Jane, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. This is the first piece I ever did when I did the Nuyorican, and it's an honor to do it for you guys tonight. All your words are so close to my heart. It's what a great community we all are. They make my Monday nights. Thank you so much. And this piece is the theme, and it's called Anthrax and Bomb. Everybody's worried about anthrax and bombs, and weapons of mass destruction are an unseen scare. The frightening reality of a chemical war nightmare. The dreaded threat that can harm us all when the bombs hit. We're all gonna fall. But check this out. You plug it in, you spray it on, you roll it over, you dab it behind your ears, between your legs or up your pits. You even hang those awful evergreen trees from a string in a bag on your automobile's rear view mirror. You smear on, you smell so nice, you old fucking spice. You tidy your bowl, Lysol your cold, lemon fresh your glade, shout out your stains, flush them down the drain, and don't forget to bounce your motherfucking dryer. So yes, I know, everybody's worried about anthrax and bombs, but I'm here to tell you that it's you that I fear, all that smell you smear on daily from your toes up to your hair. Chemical warfare ain't no foreign threat, you dig? It comes from much closer to home than you think, so let me break it down for you stinky old selves. It's chemical warfare every time you buy that shit that's on your shelves. You're like a junkie on a fix with chemical habits that you feed, plugging, spraying, rolling, dabbing, rinsing up behind your ears, between your legs, or anywhere you feel the need. But you tell me who the terrorists be. You got your leaf blowers and your SUVs, your smelly ski-doos and your leaky jet skis, and air fresheners plugged into every wall for breezing you all to fucking death. And gadgets for every thought, all battery-powered worlds from can till can, sucking energy from a wire that goes to what? The electric plant. Electricity like magic, it comes from the sky, or gods, or fairies. It just is, don't ask why. But what are you, stupid? Just where is it you think plastic comes from? Ever heard of petroleum? From oil plastic comes. And while we're on the subject of stupid, let's move right along to our beloved television. Big Brother's delivery system and nothing to see or think about. A Bergeron box that will drown your soul, steal your brain, make you old before your time, litter your mind with trash, like you litter the planet with disposable lighters and diapers, and things I wouldn't even begin to know about. And while we're at it, how you gonna buy some shit, unwrap it, without a blade, toss it on the ground? Ever heard of Mother Earth? How you gonna get her dirty for the babies you birth, you stupid motherfuckers? Have you no clue? You gotta watch just what you do. It's up to you. You're like a junkie on a fix with chemical habits that you feed without regard to our mother. You need. So the next time you're checking out your local food mart, take a good long look at your own shopping cart. Then you tell me who the motherfucking terrorists be. Peace, y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all are great.
Give it up for James.
Who the motherfucking terrorist be?
Speaking the truth.
You said,
That was fire.
Love it, love it. I love the poetry. I love the persona. I love the background. It all comes together so well. Jane, where can the people find you online?
Well, I've been banned from Facebook, so I'm not on Facebook, but you can get me at IG, Jane Spoken Word, and I'll put it in the chat. If you want to hear some more of my shit, I usually perform with music. There's stuff on my website, janespokenword.com. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Jane. Jane Spoken Word. You know, Jane is a badass if she's been banned from Facebook. I've been trying to get banned from Facebook, you know, within reason. Like, you know, I'm not going to go shout something that I don't truly believe in, but, you know, I be pushing the boundaries. Well, not in a while, but Jane, go check out Jane. She's a badass. All right. Next coming up, I have Elemental. Let me unmute. Elemental's always giving so much love to everyone, man. He came in giving love, yo. So I love giving him love. I'm happy he got to the waiting list. We got to get him to rock. Go ahead, man. Floor is yours.
Appreciate you, Advocate, as always, to everyone, to Mr. Pleasance, who has now created the poem at Forward, to Mr. Speaker, to Jody, to everyone, you know, who gave up their spot. I truly appreciate that. Like everyone's been saying, I'm only going to echo it. You know what I mean? You folks are life, straight up. No place I'd rather be. So this is new, man. You know, like still dripping. So forgive me if it's not all the way cohesive yet, but let's go. I remember my father's face, the clench of his muscles, the anticipation beating down his brow, squeezing his beard so tightly I thought it would burst. He checked his trusty TV guide to ensure his calibrations would coincide with date, time, atmospheric pressure, and wind speed. No interruptions during this power hour of muscle and monikers. Made screaming fans out of the manliest of men. You could smell the testosterone dripping from every transistor, and the crowd going crazy like 13th floor hallways filled with psychotic dreams and morphine flavored wallpaper, psycho, bananas, all kinds of ape shit like King Kong Bundy, this bald-headed behemoth, busted turnbuckles and bashed brains like Bam Bam Bigelow or Big Boss Man, watched as these Goliaths sheep herded or bushwhacked any ordinary day into a frenzy of four horsemen and nature boy antics, waiting in the tall cotton, woo, cashmere wearing, wheeling and dealing, hustle with the muscle. They were a total package, a Lex Luger of time slots and sponsors, making superstars of widow makers, moondogs, and American dreams. Saw the respect in Chief Wahoo McDaniel and felt the honor of Sergeant Slaughter, fighting the forces of Nikolai Volkov and Iron Sheiks, and stood in the reverence of superstar Billy Graham, felt the chemistry and calamity of the Steiner brothers, paving the way for brothers to bring the pain inside the squared circle to swanton bomb competitors with a Cactus Jack reflexes sharp as Razor Ramon with more bad news than Brown. They demolition, earthquakes, and typhoons like a new world order. These rockers, non-stoppers, put the Jimmy Hart in the Hart Foundation, came through like hurricanes and Von Erichs with mega powers to D-Generation X, these road warriors, nasty boys like the Soul Patrol. What a rush. They were just the tip of the spear, more Goldberg, less Christian than Gangrel, drinking in life like acolytes. Having $1 million dreams at the hands of Ted DiBiase's or nightmares carefully crafted by barbers and snakes to sting the life out of DDPs and Mark Henrys, to Kevin Nash the hell out of a cell like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Start Gang, Great Kabuki, the green light to Vince McMahon, the world. These Andre the Giants making magic with Rey Mysterios and Eddie Guerreros, frog splashing cripplers and dragons, making everyone Coco beware of every hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mr. Perfect, or hardcore Holly that threatened mankind. Like Kane, holding tombstones and choke slams on his breath, like a pallbearer calling death with an Undertaker's accent. American badass, a great Kamala with a Rikishi disposition and more hoes than the Godfather. To gold dust these dusty roads, superfly like Snooker into an ultimate warrior, a macho man of a savage, making Hogan's less Hulk, more rowdy Roddy Piper, like ravishing Rick Rude to everything honky tonk, man. Chewed it up and spit it out like British Bulldogs to Jerry the King Lawler every Royal Rumble a championship match. Until the glass broke, the crowd erupted into a frenzy of 316s and beer baths and stone cold stunners. No questions asked. Can I get a hell yeah? Couldn't TLC match these heroes out of my mind no more than I could Dudley Boys and RKO Ernie Ladd to a Tony Atlas. Oh, but they found a gem, a second generation diamond that asked, who's your favorite wrestler? Who? It doesn't matter. He's the people's champion. Finally, The Rock has come back to save this monster from the brink of extinction. They took a wrong turn down Jabroni Drive, thought they were headed to Hollywood and ended up in Brock Lesnar with Kurt Angles to catch the glow of every man and woman making this ring infinite, burning itself into our forever, thanks to the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Can you see it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Because if you smell what The Rock is cooking, you would Samoan drop everything and run, not walk, run to the nearest box to catch the people's elbow, making Thursday the day I plug into everybody's favorite persona.
Give it up.
That was the shit.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, bro, that was so hard. Nobody dope.
My brother, my
Yes.
dad.
Ultimate Warrior was my dude. I love how you flipped this. I love when you said when you talked about Ultimate Warrior, I was like, remember, man, WrestleMania 7 kicked Hulk Hogan's ass. Loved it. All right, brother. Elemental, where can we find you online?
Yo, thank you so much, man, for the energy. Like I said, that one's still wet, man. But I truly appreciate all y'all so much. You can find me on IG, Elemental the Poet. You can find me on YouTube at Elemental the Poet, and on Twitter at Elemental. I truly appreciate all of you, everybody who touched the mic tonight. Yo, everybody on the waiting list who didn't get on, much love. Everybody, I just say everybody poem it forward, man. At least once poem it forward, man, because we're all a community and everybody deserves to get their voice heard. I appreciate all of you so very much. Peace and blessings, man.
Thank you, Elemental. Elemental, put your info in the chat. Also, I'm not sure if I shouted out Humberto Marte. He should be like one of the first people I shout out because he's always coming in to check us out and to listen to the poetry. Also, the shout out to Janet White. I know Janet had showed up later. Yeah, Janet, we see you. Woohoo, Janet White. And the shout out to Christian. I shouted Christian out earlier, but then Christian like went MIA. I don't know. I don't know what they had to do, but they back. So, okay, cool. So I have, also, let me say, growing up, the women wrestlers were all about being half naked and they were horrible. And as a kid, I understood that, right? But my son's into wrestling now. And I watch some matches and the women are way better than the dudes. The dudes look like retired athletes who are afraid to jump, and the women doing somersaults and all these different kicks and body slams like they are. Yo, you need to check it out. Like, they are really kicking ass. This is not like some virtual signaling, like, no, like, yo, way more entertaining than the dudes. Dudes, you gotta step it up. All right, Timothy Belgrave is next. Then I have Norm Maddox. Then I have Nancy Ware. Then I have Thomas Connor. So we are going to go overtime. I had a long Monday, might as well have a long open mic. I got 4 people left in only 5 minutes. So I figure by 10:40, 45, we'll be done. So if you want to stick around a little bit longer, we're going to do that. And we're going to start with Timothy Belgrave, who had to leave, but then he came back. So wait, Timothy, where'd you go, man? I saw you. I saw Timothy. Did Timothy leave? Timothy was like, yo, I don't got my phone. Timothy going once. If you're here, Timothy, hit me up because I saw you. Just as I said your name, I saw you, but you disappeared. Okay, we'll back around to Timothy if he's still here. Norm Maddox. I saw Norm too. I saw his. So Norm should, yes, he is. Look at that. We're getting deep into the waiting list and we got some treasures. Norm Maddox. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, baby, here I come. 2 pieces, never been read before. Old new shit. Cheshire Cat or Mona Lisa. We've been trained to smile with our eyes when our lips like eyelashes are false and the smile is only wearing teeth. Kisses feel like bark up the wrong tree. Eyes shine, glisten like daggers that cut both ways. Tears fall like ice cubes, splash, melt, boil, searing streaks in cheeks that used to glow and swell with joy. Now explode, busting through asphalt creases in your face. Is that what it means to crack a smile? This other piece is definitely personified. What time are you? Awareness moves through a string of nows with agility and confidence. Time moves in a straight line like dandelion seeds in the wind, forward, endlessly, sometimes slow to the point that it appears to stop, but it doesn't. We barely keep up. We are usually behind. We get distracted by a thing and become attached to that thing. Fall behind the pace time has set, like an alarm set to go off on someone else's schedule. What does it mean when someone says, don't get ahead of yourself? Is there another you out there moving at a different pace? How does this person know the pace another you moves when you didn't know there was another you? Can you describe the sensation of time standing still? What's the distinction between time and life? The sense of time standing still, life moving forward at the same pace as time, life running neck and neck with time to meet you where you are. The absolute reason for the fencer's exaltation, the explosion, the score, the éla grito, when la belle touche, the beautiful touch has been scored. Éla is French for it's there, or there it is. A convergence in life, a point scored by a line established in time. Life, with all its complexities, your mind's synthesis of experiences with life, awareness like an epiphany, acknowledgement of all there is in that moment. But I am digressing. Life is the laboratory where awareness and thought decompose the variables such that action comes through the marrow of human existence. Life comes from all directions. Life goes in all directions through multiple layers of relevance, concentric spheres configured like the rings of Saturn around the core of who you think you be. Some spheres thick and dense enough, they deserve a personality, a thought of their own, charismatic enough to attract strangers, maybe not enough gravity to keep friends. Other spheres, thin and fragile, like eggshells, fracture under stress, breaking down so easily when it looks so solid, enduring little past the first knock. Genuity, opacity, invisibility. Clarity depends on the lens and what you're looking for. Find it by its absence. Look for nothing and see more. When you look to your core, what is there to see? Peace.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Norm Mathematics.
Mathematics in the building.
That last
Come
line
through
right
with
there,
that, man.
Wow.
Come through.
Real teacher right there.
Look to your core.
Love this dude. Love his energy. So happy that we were able to get to the waiting list so that we can hear him. Norm Mathematics. Where can the people find you online, brother?
Wow. So Instagram, Norm_Maddox. And the 20th of February, my book is dropping, Black Calculus with Nomadic Press. So there's going to be a book release and I'm on it. I'm sure you'll love it. Black Calculus, oíste.
That sounds awesome. I am going to be on the lookout for that. Brother, I hope all is well, man. It's always a pleasure having you on. Thank you.
El gusto es mío, papá.
Norm Mathematics, my dude, yo, love him. See, man, I don't love the pandemic, but I love what's come of it like this, man. I've been getting to meet a bunch of really cool people, and some people I sort of know, but I'm starting to get to know better too, that because of all this. All right, next coming up is a woman who I didn't know before this, but now this is her second time back with us. I think she's getting addicted to, and I hope so, because she's really good, and that is Nancy Ware. Nancy, I'm so happy we got you on the waiting list, and you've been here since 8 o'clock. I appreciate you. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I could be here for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours more. I love this group so much. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's your turn to add to tonight's energy. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was thinking about persona, and my favorite persona right now, my fantasy persona, is I wish I were Amanda Gorman. Oh my God, isn't she fantastic? Amanda Gorman, I would love to be her, but that's not possible. So then I was thinking, there is something that has been part of my persona for probably 70 years or so. As far back as I can remember, I have always tried to use my voice to stand up to injustices. I was in Washington Square Park in the late 60s, marching against the Vietnam War. 4 years ago, I knit my own pussy hat and marched in the San Francisco Women's March 4 years ago. And then recently, I needed to figure out what's going on with this election. What's going on? What's happening? So I had to use my poetry to keep this persona of trying to figure out what's going on. So here we go. The president has no clothes. The president has no clothes. The Donald can't don them. He's only a con man. He's lonely and naked. He only can fake it. He thinks he's the king, but he's really nothing. The president has no clothes. The president has no spine. The president has no spine. The Donald is feckless. His actions are reckless. He's clearly delusional, unconstitutional, wears counterfeit crown, but is really a clown. Fake news is his backup. His mantra is lock up. The president has no spine. The president's narcissistic. The president's narcissistic. Donald can't show us sympathy. He's wanting of empathy. He's fiercely sadistic. He goes quite ballistic. When people oppose him, he'll only bulldoze them. He thinks he's superior, yet he's clearly inferior. The president's narcissistic. The president is a sneak. The president is a sneak. Donald's deceptive, his thinking's defective. He'll tell you a lie, then deny and deny. He'll cheat, then he'll manage to get the advantage. He'll give bribe after bribe to his red-hatted tribe. The president is a sneak. The president is uncouth. The president is uncouth. He'll use words to slander. He's an expert philanderer. He's a bully unchecked, and he shows no respect. He'll try to replace anyone off his base. He has no mind for details, loves belittling females. The president is uncouth. The president is unfit. The president is unfit. He rejects facts categorically, feigns superiority, doesn't know history, thinks COVID's a mystery. He rallies his Proud Boys like a roundup of cowboys. He isn't well read, but he twitters instead. The president is unfit. The president is deranged. The president is deranged. He won't go away, think he's entitled to stay. He wants a correction to a fair, just election. He uses speeches to frighten and then takes delight in the hate and the rancor that spreads like a canker. The president is deranged. The president is malignant. The president is malignant. He's very dogmatic and undemocratic. He sides with the despots and wades in the cesspits. He's so idiotic, not the least patriotic. He's the purest negation of all the good in this nation. The president is malignant. The president has no clothes. The president has no clothes. The public is waking. There's no mistaking the fraud he has perpetrated, the violence he's aggravated. It's all been hypocrisy against our democracy. But the people have spoken. They're wise, but heartbroken to see this bare fool who thought he could rule. He's now been exposed and Sir Donald's deposed because the president has no clothes.
Unmute yourselves, give it up for Nancy.
So good. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes you hear these ideas and it's like, oh, I should have thought of that. The president has no clothes. That was awesome, awesome. And Nancy, do you know a Bill Hickman or David Hickman? I mean, David Hickman?
And I know, yes.
All right,
And
David.
Matthew Ware is my grandson, and he's been waiting up all night for this.
Oh, okay. He had the, I remember Matthew, he had the dog, and I saw that David just checked in. All right. So,
thank you so much, you guys. I love it. I love you, and I'll be back again. I just love listening to you. I'm going to be here every Monday.
Awesome. And Nancy, is there anywhere that people can follow you online?
Not really. I'll just come back.
All that protesting, they got the government after you. You got to stay off the internet. I got it. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy Ware, her second week with us. She's been awesome, and she brings her family along, man. Her grandson, like, yo, that must be an awesome family. Like, what grandson's like, yeah, grandma, I'm gonna listen to you do poetry on the internet. Like, no, you know, like, that must be a great family. Like, you know, they did something right there. They did something right with that family. All right, next to end it is Thomas Connor. And Thomas, man, he gets on Thursday nights, but Mondays we've had trouble. I know he was on last week. Usually he gets on the waiting list. I'm so happy we're able to get to him. Thomas, you closing it out for us, brother. Go ahead.
What's up, y'all? Peace, peace. So this one I wrote because next month is Black History Month. So we're going to pop it off like this. The bad ship, Jesus Lebec. Your body carried bodies, unwillingly they went. Trapped in your bowels, stenching of death. Cruising the oceans, putrid that scent. Floating dystopia, now that's a misnomer. It was hell on water. Mission to catch sons and daughters. Pain heavy like bricks and mortar. Fathers and mothers grieving their slaughter. Sailing the ocean blue. Look how she bleeds. Look how she breeds. Look how she breeds. Death in droves. It's apparent her murderous ways we bequeathed. Isabella Amistad Guillemin, draining the Ivory Coast. Listen to her moans, her sullen poems, deathly tomes, recited in deathly tones. She grieves in morbid groans, now auctioned, shackled, and tackled by Bobby's men. Peace.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Thomas Connor.
That's how you close it. Thomas, way to come through and close it out, man.
Amazing. Good way to close it.
Amazing.
Perfect poem for that. Much appreciated. You were so
came through with the hammer. It was like, Doma with Thor's hammer. Let me unmute Thomas. Brother, where can we find you online?
I'm Thomas Connor at Facebook and on Instagram, TAC7371.
Thank you. Make sure you put the info in the chat too, because you know, some people, they're lazy. They like to paste and copy. Thomas
No
Connor.
doubt. Peace.
Oh, we unmuted you. Wait. You were gonna say something. Let me, because I think there was a delay between us. Go ahead.
No worries. Thank you for the space, man. Thank you for giving up your time. You know, I know you could be doing something else, but thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the poets. Everybody was dope tonight. Definitely. Dope.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thomas Connor, that's right. I am about 10 minutes late to watching Big Bang Theory. I am back to watching it from season 1. I refuse to watch TV shows now unless I know that they've gone through several seasons and that they have a definitive end. I cannot tell you how many shows I've started watching. They're like, yep, no, yeah, that little cliffhanger at the end, we don't got money for next year, so we're not having it. So real quick, the themes for next week. I just got Portia was like, what's the themes for next week? Well, listen, Portia, you always show love. So I'm going to put that up here. So let me go back to the themes. Wait, I skipped it. Here it is. So the theme for next week is history. Now, there's a kind of a reason I did it. First off, thank you everyone for staying after and staying longer. I really appreciate you. The reason I'm choosing history is because I guess like with me, it's like people talk about like Black history. And I've always been like, but you can't just celebrate it in 1 month. Now I'm American, right? So no virtue signaling here. This is all honest. Forget that virtue signaling. You cannot have American history, United States of America history, without including Black history, right? So I get it, but Black history is for really like for the uneducated. You don't know, let me tell you. But you know, I was born and raised in the Bronx. I grew up in the Black culture. Every day was like Black history and you're learning. It's intertwined. But nonetheless, it is Black History Month. And the first day, history, however you want to flip it. Second, February 8th, got my eye on you. It is a week before Valentine's Day. Who you got your eye on? You got your eye on me, I know you do. All right, February 15th, after Valentine's Day, is breakup. That's it, the love was over. She used you for all the roses and the expensive chocolate and all that. Breakup. And the week after that is my birthday, but I don't want poems about me. I want poems about the themed advocate of words. What does that mean to you? Advocate of words. So with that being said, thank y'all so much again for staying after. Make sure you check out not Facebook, check out the New York Poets Cafe on Facebook and on YouTube. You can rewatch all of this that maybe you missed it. You want to hear poems again. I know I want to go back and hear a couple of poems, and please share the video with your friends. Make sure that you do that. So with that being said, good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the extra time tonight to listen. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as tonight's poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting the spirit of Miguel Agarin into your home. This has been the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New York Poets Cafe. I am your host, as always, Advocate of Words, and such a pleasure. So I'm gonna go watch The Big Bang Theory now, all right? And make sure that you guys hit me up on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and let me know. We gotta get this thing, the Scott Pleasance thing of giving up your spot for someone who hasn't rocked before. We gotta think of a name for that, all right?